Packers Hall of Famer, Mark Tauscher. Tausch, take it away.
This is pretty easily, I could say this is the best win in the Matt LaFleur era. This is the most important win for Matt LaFleur, and I think the most meaningful win for Matt LaFleur. We all have questions, and there still are questions, but this idea of moving on to Jordan Love and what was he going to be, Brian Gutekunst built a roster to give Jordan Love a chance to be successful and to play against your rival at their place in the beginning of the new era when all hope and everybody thought that this was going to be the turning page for the Bears to get back on top, and for an utter dismantling of everything that the Chicago Bears thought they wanted to be in front of their crowd on the opening of the season just reasserts that the Green Bay Packers franchise knows what they're doing and has built this thing the right way. And if I'm a Chicago Bears fan tonight, I don't know where to turn. Because the Green Bay Packers, there's still going to be ups and downs, but you could not have drawn up a more perfect way to start the Jordan Love era in Green Bay than what we saw this afternoon. That's it. I don't think you could draw it up any better than what the Green Bay Packers did down at Soldier Field for the last 3.5 hours. I just don't think you could. And it has to leave a lasting mark on that Bears franchise, what we just saw this afternoon.
800-990-3776 is the Bono Box One line. If you want to get in on the conversation, that's a call. You can text that at 800-990-3776.
It's not even close to the most important win the coach has ever had. But aside from that, they played like...
Let me ask you this,
yeah,
Homer.
Go ahead.
Is this not... Do you not think Matt LaFleur, his first win was down at Chicago as a coach, and it was a big win. He's going to get a lot more credit. I think he understands how important this win was. And I don't think there will be a more meaningful win outside of a Super Bowl or an NFC Championship to get him to his first Super Bowl than what he had today.
Only if things great happen the rest of the season. If nothing great happens the rest of the season, it'll be forgotten in 3 weeks.
Homer.
Yes?
You can only go off of this, the beauty of this league, and that's the beauty of our jobs, is that you can only go off of what just happened.
Right.
You can progress, you can look forward, but as we're sitting here, that plane ride home and what Matt LaFleur is feeling with all of the questions that I know he had and the way his team responded and this roster responded, you know that this is the most meaningful win that he's had.
Oh, now he's saying what he thinks is the most meaningful win.
That's what I said, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought you said it is the most important one.
No, not in the history of the Packers organization. No, but for Matt LaFleur?
Matt LaFleur.
Yes.
Oh, no, the other stuff to get us to be the greatest coach for the first 3 years. But
no, nobody. That's you. Mariucci'd him. So no, that's all.
So right now, yes, he feels like it's huge. No, they played like a playoff team. I'm not saying they're a playoff team, but they played like a playoff team. They were up 38-14 with 12 and a half minutes left. When they scored to kind of take control of the game, the Bears came right back and scored. And then the Packers had like a 3rd and 8, and they threw the ball to the game had the potential to become close. And they made all the plays. They were a playoff team today. They beat the crap out of the Bears. The Bears clearly are going to need a new quarterback. I'm not sure I don't fire the head coach. I'm not sure he has any idea what they're doing.
Okay, but now I'm the one overreacting. So I said this week on our bold prediction that
I thought you were crazy when you said it. And I still think you're crazy.
If the Green Bay Packers beat the Chicago Bears, I just really felt like when you're a young team, it can take a while to get your footing. And I still think there's going to be some potholes and some ups and downs. There was plenty of things today that weren't awesome.
Plenty of things to clean up.
Plenty. And when you can say that and beat your big rival by
18
points, whatever it ended up being.
invent stuff just because they beat the crap out of them.
Well, no,
the Packers have won 9 straight games against the Chicago Bears. The thought was this would be closer because Aaron Rodgers is gone. They're no rival. It would appear that the Packers own the Bears, not Aaron Rodgers. That's what today might have shown.
The thought was,
yes,
Chicago Bears fans, and everybody was rejoicing when the Packers traded Aaron Rodgers. And Bears Twitter all offseason, all training camp, everything was, yeah, but you don't have that guy. And for that fan base and for that franchise to think that they're heading in the right direction, that everything they're doing, and the Green Bay Packers, in essence, saying, we're going to take all this dead cap money, we're going to do all this, and we're going to go as young as any team has been in quite some time, and we're still going to come down there and smack you around like little brother. And that was the demoralization that has to be reverberating through that city and through that locker room. It's substantial. That's why this was such a big game.
No, but I don't care about the Bears. Why do I care with the fans and all this stuff? Their team's still a mess. They don't know what to do at quarterback, but that doesn't have anything to do with the Packers.
Because, Homer,
what?
Had things went the other way, which some people thought was going to happen, that things would have flipped, it would have been, from a psyche standpoint, a different ball game. And the Bears, whether or not they were going to be better or not, I don't care. But the Green Bay Packers, when you're young, you can be a little naive, and you don't necessarily know, and you can start getting into a rut of, we have a hard time winning. But then you have a game like today, and now the confidence meter, rip, through the roof. A road game opener against, you don't have to call them a rival. They are a rival, even though the records would say that they're not lately. To get off to that start with under the Jordan Love era is a big blanking deal.
Oh, I would agree with that.
It just
is. I mean, they clearly play with an attitude with some of the stupid penalties and just the energy they have. It's kind of Jair Alexander's team now. Do crazy stuff, but it's fun to watch, and the energy they have and the enthusiasm and all that stuff was, that's all accurate.
It really felt like a whole. We all knew it was going to be a whole new operation, and you got all these new players at critical spots, and it just felt fun. It felt like an edgier, more physical, like different football team than what we've seen. Yep. And the stat that blew me away was the fact that with Aaron Rodgers last year, they scored 1 touchdown on opening drives. You know how many they have already under the new Jordan Love era?
1. Oh, you mean to start
the game?
Oh, okay.
Opening drives,
I don't know if you meant the opening drive
tutters.
In the first and the second half. I mean, they scored on the first drive.
It's really impressive. It's one game, but it is really impressive that this team, without their most explosive playmaker on offense, can put up and do what they did today against this Bears team. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I do think that everybody that was coming in here with some skepticism, and by the way, deserved, I think you have to look at this and say, well, the preseason wasn't a fluke. This wasn't a fluke. This could be a really good football team, and especially you let it grow. Today
what is eye-opening. Really good? What is really good? Just so
the offensive line. If you want to look at why this game played out the way it did, I kept wondering, are the Bears going to ever let Justin Fields just drop back and throw? The answer was little to none. And with Jordan Love, he had all day. When Aaron Jones was in, the running game was good. I'm always a Gutekunst guy. I always have been. It
was a great day
I
for
think
him.
you could look at this today and say, man, he's built himself. There's still, again, plenty of question marks. But what he's been able to do with Reed and with that group up front, and really, I think I don't know if we'll get to our dogs of the day or whatever we're doing, that D-line was salty today. There is a different edge to this football team, and I think there's a lot of players that, while everybody loves having a franchise quarterback that you can kind of lean on, I think there's the mentality today of, this is all about us. It's no longer a one-man show. We are going to do it. And you just felt that, the special teams, you felt like, man, they're going to either make a big play or they're down covering kicks. It's just everything synced up. And I don't remember, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe Minnesota at Lambeau last year. I don't remember a full-on three-headed monster of a team effort better than what we saw down at Soldier Field today. Yeah, I don't know if I can remember one last year.
It was Minnesota.
I can't.
It was Minnesota. It was that last game, or the second to last game of the season. It was certainly that Minnesota game. That was the one that was certainly most impressive for them last year. 800-990-3776. Quickly, we go to Jeff in Minneapolis. Jeff, you're on Green Bay Game Night with Homer, Gabe, and Tausch.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing great, Jeff. What's up?
Well, these are my thoughts. It was a very important win. I'm very happy for Jordan Love. I completely agree that the offensive and defensive lines really determined a lot of the game. So these are my two observations, good and bad. The good is the defense. I know it's Chicago, but they're just the whole aggressiveness, for lack of a better word. The whole aggressiveness with the defense is a completely different tone, and you can just see it. They are getting after it. And I think that if they can continue to do that, the Packers are going to be in a lot of games. My two concerns are if Aaron Jones can't play, the fall off between him and A.J. Dillon is just remarkable. And that's going to be an injury that we're going to have to keep an eye on. And my other concern really has always been is in the first half, I'm not sure what Matt LaFleur was doing with the play calling, but after the first series, Aaron Jones basically didn't see the ball, and they kind of screwed up the play calling, at the end of the first half. So obviously I'm thrilled. Plenty of things to feel happy about, and I agree with Tausch's observations about the saltiness. That's a great word. And we got next week to look forward to. But I think one other positive. I don't know what his exact statistics were on third and fourth down, but I think Jordan Love was almost at a perfect quarterback rating on those two downs. He was incredible when it mattered most. I think that says a lot about him.
Yeah, and the line really protected him well on third and fourth down because he allowed him to throw the ball down the field. That's certainly, I think, when he had some of his better throws of the game. We certainly appreciate the call, Jeff. We'll continue to take your calls, your texts on that Botobox One line, 800-990-3776, as Green Bay Game Night continues next.
More Green Bay Game Night coming up on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Get your game on at the Island Resort and Casino with first-round picks of your favorite slots and table games. Bring friends and watch your favorite team compete on big screens. Grab game day eats in T. McSee's Sports Bar. Or celebrate your team's victory in Horizon's Steakhouse. To book your game time at the Island Resort and Casino, call 800-682-6040 today.
Hey, this is Gary Ellison for my good friends at the Jewelry Center. It's the only place I go when I'm looking to get some new jewelry. Dean and his team are always friendly and know just what I'm searching for when I stop by. I may not always know what type of jewelry I want, but the professionals there sure do. Plus, if I need repairs on watches or other jewelry, the Jewelry Center does that too. Find the Jewelry Center in Burlington, Brookfield, and Greenfield, or shop their entire collection online, including their popular Lightbox lab-grown diamonds at shoptjc.com.
Hi, this is Wayne Larrabee, the voice of Green Bay football. Fans count on me to make the right call every time, and I can continue to do that thanks to Summit Eye Care of Wisconsin. When my vision began to drift, my eye doctor said Summit Eye Care was the best place to go. Using the latest adjustable implants, the doctors at Summit were able to fine-tune my vision. In fact, my vision is now the best it's ever been. Summit Eye Care was the right call to help me see all the action on game days.
To schedule an appointment at one of their locations, visit summitiwi.com.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. The Army National Guard responds to disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's, flavor is our family's business.
Here in Wisconsin, a good old-fashioned is an important way of life. And that's where my friends at Perky's Old Fashioned come in. Hey, it's ESP Milwaukee's Game Night, so here to tell you about the easiest way to put together an old-fashioned. Perky's offers both brandy and bourbon old-fashioned mixes. And get this, the booze is already in there. Just add the soda of your choosing, and you'll have Grandma Perky's old-fashioned in the palm of your hand. Perky's is locally made and great for get-togethers of all kinds. Get perked up and head to perkysspirits.com for your nearest Perky's location.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. If you're in the market for a full-size 8-passenger SUV, look no further than the Defender 130. And with the Defender 90, the 110, and this 130, there's luxury in the right size for everyone.
Plus, when you buy or lease from Fields, you'll automatically become a member of the Fields Amenities Program with complimentary loaners, car washes, our cafe and gourmet coffee bar, and much more. All at no charge at Land Rover Waukesha. LandRoverWaukesha.com.
Truth, reason, and tolerance shaped our U.S. Constitution, but those building blocks of democracy are under attack. Big tech social media splits us apart, hurts our children, and causes violence and terror in our communities. Be a part of the change. Go to counterhate.com to learn more.
Unfiltered, shameless, and analytical. ESPN Milwaukee's next afternoon show is Kyle, Brust, and Northman. Weekdays from 2 to 5. And it debuts on Monday, September 11th at 2 o'clock, right here on 94.5 ESPN. You're listening to Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Here's Lowe. Taps it a couple times, going end zone. Caught! Dobbs! Touchdown, Green Bay!
Romeo Dobbs was limited today, but he still had 2 touchdowns, 4 catches, 26 yards, 2 touchdowns, both in the red zone. Packers real good in the red zone today as they defeat the Chicago Bears by the final of 38-20. Certainly an area where they struggled last year. Did not struggle today in the red zone. Come away with 3 touchdowns in 3 attempts in their 38-20 win over the Chicago Bears. Brian and the Shaw hitting us up on that text line, the Boda Box wine line, 800-990-3776. What was Jordan Love's third down conversion rate when they passed on third down? He seemed pretty clutch. I believe the Fox broadcast did say he had a perfect passer rating. 7 of 9, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns on third down today for Jordan Love. And for me, this entire season is all about how good is Jordan Love. And I think that's what it comes down to a lot for the Packers. Now, there are more things that go into this season, certainly. But when you're talking about having a debut where you're 15 to 27, 245, 3 TDs, only sacked 1 time, man, I cannot imagine a better start for him. Much like, Aaron Rodgers' first start against the Minnesota Vikings on Monday Night Football, had a couple of touchdown passes, looked really good. And I can't remember, Tausch, on Bold-a-thon on Wilde and Tausch. Didn't somebody predict that Jordan Love was going to get that contract extension just like Aaron Rodgers did 6 games in? Whoever made that prediction's got to be feeling pretty good today.
Yeah, that was old T that made that pick. And I said before Thanksgiving, just because, I think, Jordan Love has shown throughout the preseason that he was, I think, a lot better than some thought. He is in command of the offense, and I think Brian Gutekunst obviously loves Jordan Love. So when you factor all of that in, and the fact that the price is going to continue to go up, if he plays like he did today, that contract extension will even be here sooner than that, because this team is built to win differently than what the team was last year. And if Jordan Love is playing on a contract that's as team-friendly as it is right now, this team has money to spend. They can utilize that, some of their money, the $14 or $15 million up against the cap that they have to put into this year, and get Jordan Love signed long-term. Now, again, it's always tough to not overreact when you have a game like this tonight. But I do this. It's a lot easier for me when you have clunkers like the Packers have had versus Minnesota and when they played, I think, New Orleans down in Jacksonville. It's easier for me to kind of pull back and say, slow down, because everybody is panicking. It's really difficult when you have a performance like you did today to, you could say, well, the Bears stink and everything else. And that very well could be true. But you also had to make plays and do things. And the fact that everybody, all sides of the football, did it today, it makes you very optimistic about what, not 2024, about what this season could be. And I think most of us had kind of thought, meh. And this very well conversation next week at this time could be, what happened in Atlanta? That's how this season, I think, is going to go. There's going to be a lot of roller coaster riding up and down and just enjoy the ride. And today is one of those pinnacle games, and you just hope that you can keep climbing as this season continues to unfold.
The most important player on the offense is Aaron Jones. It's not even close. And if they need to do a contract, they need to get Aaron Jones. The offense is a mess without Aaron Jones. And I don't know why he played so little in the first half. Was there a reason for that? I mean, he should play all the time other than when he's tired, and then you put Dillon in. The gap between those two is massive, especially in the offense.
I agree. I don't know. I don't know why you have all that success with Aaron Jones, and then immediately A.J. Dillon. I don't mind if you want to go 3 out of 4. I think even at this point now, for whatever reason, this was when Mike McCarthy was there too. So why is Aaron Jones not getting the ball more? That's always been a topic, and he has been so good. Now, is he consistent? And
I didn't know it was
can he
fast.
do?
Yeah.
He's got explosiveness. Right. He is the modern day back that you're looking for, because he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's obviously very quick. He's good. He reads the holes well. He needs to be this idea that it's going to be some kind of 50-50 or 60-40 timeshare. I know you want to keep guys fresh.
I'm 90-10.
I think we're at the point in the career of Aaron Jones that we just want to, let's just make him work. He wants to be out there. I want to see him out there more. And I think that ratio between him and A.J. Dillon, it was abundantly clear tonight. A.J. Dillon has his role on this football team. I think Aaron Jones's needs to be outsized a lot more than what it's been.
What actually is A.J. Dillon's role?
Big physical, change of pace. I want to lean on you a little bit. Okay. That's, I think, what his role is for this team.
Right. My role is you play when Jones is tired.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that deciphering.
Well, and I'm okay
with that.
I think this week more people are going to be concerned about Aaron Jones' hamstring than Christian Watson's hamstring, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially seeing
Dr. Tausch. What do you did you?
Catch it definitely, you could tell right away, and now guys are doing these. It sometimes can be like a acting. I've never understood why you would do that.
I've seen
so
some
you
guys
always
do that.
are kind of like. I hope that's not. But with Aaron Jones, you kind of saw it because it was before the end zone. You kind of felt, he pulled. That's not a great sign. And what you always are worried about when that happens is it's so easy then for it to be a recurring deal. And then are you going to get back to full tilt? So depending on where it is, the good thing, at least what I saw, is it was lower in the belly of the hand. It's not up in that upper part where I think you're going to miss more time. I think I told this story on World Tausch.
I don't know if I've heard the difference between upper hamstring and lower hamstring. I'm all in on this diagnosis, Tausch.
So I'll tell you this. As a heavier set fella, someone once told me you can't pull fat. Don't know if that's true or not, but what I will tell you is I pulled my hamstring when I was playing, and it was in the upper part of the belly of my hamstring. So it was upper.
Okay.
And it was in the off season, thankfully. I would have been out 3 to 4 weeks. I just was over in Portugal, and I missed a step on a hot tub. and I pulled my hamstring in the lower part of my hammy, and I didn't miss a day walking up and down the hills of Lisbon. So that's going to be my diagnosis as far as lower hamstring and the upper belly. So take that for what it's worth. I was able to fight through the lower belly hammy. The upper belly hammy, when I pulled it when I played, now it was a much harder pull. I couldn't sit because I pulled it so bad. So that's just the reference point that I can
go by the
you.
bruise of the hammy pull. It's how far it goes down your leg. If you have a bad hammy pull, it can go all the way down to the ankle. You're black and blue all the way. So the lower it goes, you're not
getting hammy information like this anywhere else, folks.
I agree.
Green Bay game night between Homer and Tausch.
How bad was the bruise? Am I right? Did the one hammy, the bruise, go all the way down to close to the ankle?
I think it was. I mean, it was definitely more effusive, I guess is the word I'd look for. There's more swelling, and it hurt a lot more. This, I really felt like I had to gut this one out. That low hammy pull from the hot tub step miss, I was able to overcome that a lot more. I know we're joking around, but I do think
no. You stop this. Let people know you ain't joking around. Hammies are a pain. They're bad. They can be really bad.
That part of it is bad.
Yeah.
But this idea, I do think you're always going to be happier pulling your hamstring lower. Because at first I thought, boy, that's close to the knee. Kind of in that hammy where you're kind of when your knee bends. Mm-hmm. If that's just a small pull there, it's not as big a deal. But when you're as explosive and as quick-twitched as these guys are, unfortunately, and Christian Watson's dealt with that, or obviously Romeo Doubs as well, those are tough because it's just really hard to trust opening up that to full gear to let it loose because you don't want to have to go through. Because once you have a setback, you're back to square one. And that's why the training staff is so cautious. So depending on what Aaron Jones's diagnosis is, if it was a good pull, you can almost bet that it's going to be a couple of weeks that he's going to be out.
800-990-3776. Let's hit up Levi in Plover. Levi, you're on Green Bay game night with Homer, Gabe, and Tausch.
Hey, guys. What is up? How about them Packers being the Bears, huh?
Just
pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff, Levi.
Haven't missed a beat, Levi. Haven't missed a beat.
Yeah. Hey, Tausch, I just want to bring something up quick. I listened to your show on Friday. Your singing was, like Wildy said, I thought that was one of the most funniest things you've ever done on the show history the other day. Just want to bring it up quick.
Thank you, Levi. I appreciate that. Thank you. So, Levi, what did you think? Is this what you expected in this game, or was this a pleasant surprise for you, what we saw down in Chicago?
Well, good question. I'm happy that we beat the Bears, of course. I thought Jordan Love did pretty good today, actually. He was sacked only one time, I checked. Jordan Love has been doing not too bad, but there's still going to be growing pains here and there coming into the season, as we know. But I thought the guys did pretty well, though, especially with the defensive side of the ball, especially sacking Justin Fields 4 times, if I'm not mistaken. You guys can correct me on that, because I think it said 4 times he got sacked.
Yeah, he was sacked 4 times. That's correct.
All right. Thank you, Gabe. Also, especially what Jalen Reed did, especially on that punt return for 35 yards on going to Bears territory.
He looks the part.
I thought that was great.
He looks the part, man.
That was, and we appreciate the call, Levi. That was a sigh of relief when the report came out that it was just cramps for him when he went down late in the fourth quarter.
He's a player already.
Yeah.
He's what everybody hoped Amari Rodgers would be.
Yes.
You start mixing him in with Christian Watson when healthy and Romeo Doubs. I don't know if we'll do positives and negatives today. I'll probably do that tomorrow. The reason this game went the way it did, though, was both lines of scrimmage. And it's not because that's the part I love watching, but the biggest difference is Jordan Love played really good football today, and he deserves all the attaboys that he's going to get. But the reason this game played out the way it did, Green Bay was in his face and in the backfield on a very consistent level, and Green Bay's offensive line held Chicago's D-line in check all day. The lines of scrimmage are where games are won, and Brian Gutekunst, what he's done on that defensive line side of the ball especially. The offensive line has been pretty good most of his tenure. This defensive line has been remade. You don't have Dean Lowry. You have guys now that are havoc wreakers. There is a havoc wreaker everywhere you look. Who's the young kid? Brooks, right? That had a sack late in that game.
Carl Brooks.
It's every Devontae Wyatt looked like a first-round pick tonight. Kenny Clark is Kenny Clark. Lucas Van Ness, who I think we all thought was going to just be a bit player in the beginning of the season, one of the biggest plays of the game. Early in that second quarter to sack Justin Fields, that is not easy for a 280-pound dude to chase down Justin Fields like he did. What Goody has done on the defensive line is going to be a big reason why this defense is going to be a lot better. And why they're going to make they're going to be more turnovers and more big plays, because they are not saying two gap and stop the run. They're saying go make plays. And you know what? You now have playmakers on that side of the ball in the trenches that we have not had depth-wise. I cannot recall when this defensive line is going to have more playmakers on it. They're everywhere.
More with Tausch, more with Homer, and more of your calls on that Botobox wine line at 800-990-3776 coming up next. First, I do want to tell you that 24/7 sports betting is here in the great city of Milwaukee, and that's thanks to Potawatomi Casino Hotel and the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Enjoy the convenience of self-service kiosks, odd boards, wall-to-wall TVs, free parking, a full-service bar, and numerous food options. Bet big, bet bold at the Potawatomi Sportsbook at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel.
We're back with Green Bay Game Night after this on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ. From the tee box to the green and everything golf-related in between.
Same thing with Xander and Cantley. Like those four, because you know you're just going to pair them together. Like those four are safe on this Ryder Cup team. They're safe in 2 years on that Ryder Cup team.
On the tee with Gabe Neitzel and Stephen Watson.
Like JT and Spieth are still your horses. Like they are still your first team out.
On the tee with Gabe and Steven, presented by Wisconsin Golf Trips. Mondays at 6 on 94.5 ESPN.
Buckle up. It's all systems go at Potawatomi. Plug in to high wattage play and you could win an all-electric BMW i7. Play now through September with your club card. Prize drawings on Thursdays. There's a shocking $800,000 in total prizes on the line, including the luxury BMW i7. It's time to electrify your drive. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. More info at paysbig.com/BMW. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Get to and from every home game in Green Bay this football season safely. Milwaukee Broad House, Jack's American Pub, and Wanakee Golf Course all offer transportation on game days. They've got bus services with private restrooms and all-you-can-drink packages. Book your round-trip ride from any of these locations and get complimentary access to an all-you-can-eat and drink tailgate at the bar on Holmgren Way. Make your game day experience a VIP experience with your official ride to Green Bay.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust. Men can be their own worst critics, especially as we get older and compare our current self to the younger version. The experts at Forward Healthy Lifestyles in Germantown help men with testosterone optimization, regenerative medicines, heart health screenings, weight loss, and yes, sexual enhancement services. Forward Healthy Lifestyles can offer regained energy and endurance, more muscle and tone, enhanced performance, joint therapies, and more. Change your life and stop comparing who you are now to who you used to be. Visit forwardhealthylifestyles.com for a free consultation.
Kevin Morat here for Mentality Men's Health. We hear stories every day in our clinics that what used to work for guys doesn't anymore. Increase cardio, cut out certain food, nothing stops the changes in their bodies, especially the weight. The fact is, years of decreasing testosterone has packed on the belly fat that won't go away. We've introduced a medication, semaglutide, that helps drop 15% of the body weight on average while preserving testosterone. Join the over 20,000 Mentality clients and jumpstart your results. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
Is your business looking for localized banking solutions? Fifth Third Bank has been looking forward to the future and helping businesses shape what's next for 165 years. And for the last 14 here in Milwaukee. They offer industry-specific expertise, local decision-making capabilities, and extensive experience to help your business succeed. Fifth Third is big enough to provide sophisticated solutions and expert guidance, but also empowered to make local decisions and work from a foundation of strong community connections. Commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
Keep the good times rolling every Sunday with GKB founder and CEO Craig Karmazin on Sunday Karma.
No rump shaking. Did you say that off the air, Kyle? You got to say that on the air. It was not rump shaking. It was not anything inappropriate. It just was totally irrelevant.
Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin.
Because isn't that how GMs get chosen, right? You trade up, in my opinion, cost the team a chance to win a championship.
Sundays from 10 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin. This is Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Here's a fake, low. Sets up, now goes back door to Jones. He's got some blockers here. Jones gets a block. First down, turns on the speed. Aaron Jones down the sideline, inside the 10.
I think that was my favorite play of the game, just because of the way they did the play action, boot out, and then turn, and he'd fling it all the way to the other side of the field, and there's Aaron Jones taking a screen pass all the way down inside the 10-yard line. Packers victorious over the Bears, 38-20 today. You are reacting with us. I'm Gabe Neitzel, along with Steve the Homer True and the Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher. The Butterbox wine line is open. Talk and text 800-990-3776. Up next is Carson in Sheboygan. Carson, you're on Green Bay Game Night.
Well, I just want to start with Homer. I agree with Jason. You are the GOAT of radio.
Not a baby Homer.
All right. Now that Homer's nice and uncomfortable, what else you got, Carson?
Thanks.
Did that back shoulder to Romeo Dobbs look familiar?
It was a great throw.
His second one, I think.
Yeah, it was a great catch.
Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams type of play.
Ooh.
That was. I mean, I can't speak the old. This was more catch than the pass. Dobbs gets all the.
Yeah, that was a great catch.
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan put it in the one spot where he could, and Dobbs made the play. It was a really good play.
Yeah, I'm liking the chemistry I'm seeing between them two today. But secondly, do you think we have a good defense, or did we just play a bad offense?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think you played a really bad O-line.
Yeah.
And the defensive line, which I believe is going to be the strength of this football team, shined, whatever the word is I was looking for.
I think shined.
It was the difference maker today. I think this defense, again, I don't want to drink the Kool-Aid. I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. But I do think that this new aggressive style that the players have forced upon their defensive coordinator is going to pay dividends this year.
Well, yeah, they gave up 13
I think it's
points.
much better.
I mean, they scored 7.
And how many times did you see Justin Fields scrambling out of a no-win situation, too?
Yeah, and that was it. I think that's to Tausch's point about the offensive line. So that's where...
Yeah.
I'll say this. I loved what I saw today, guys, from the defense. But the last time the Packers opened up the season in Chicago with a win, Aaron Rodgers declared that now we have a defense, and that season ended with San Francisco running for roughly 1,000 yards in the NFC Championship game. So I'm not going to quite go and say, oh, we've got a defense. This is a good building block to build that aggressiveness off of. I liked what I saw today because that is a bad offensive line. And that's exactly what you do against a bad offensive line, is you constantly put pressure on their young quarterback so he can't make any good throws.
Is Justin Fields going into his fourth year or his third?
Third, I believe. Yeah, because they have to make the decision on the the 5th year option after this year.
Okay.
I made the
either way, we still own the Bears.
No doubt about that.
Yeah,
have a good one, guys.
The Bears, the way they played today, might be worse than they were last year.
More disappointing.
I think with all of the other circumstances that are in play, the new quarterback, the rebuild, the youth movement, definitely worse than what it was. And so everybody's going to crush the O-line, and the O-line was not good for Chicago today. But I think the Bears have to come to the realization that Justin Fields is a great athlete. He's great out in space. He showed some things again today. I think as far as running the football as a quarterback, he's at the top of that list. But how many times can he actually go through his progressions? If I'm a Bears fan, I feel even worse today than I did throughout the entire season of last, because my expectations were higher, and I don't know if Justin Fields is your guy.
Yeah, well, because last year you could make excuses for him, right? Equinemius St. Brown was
they'll make excuses.
House,
now,
you do know. He's not the guy. You know it. He's not the guy.
I would tend to agree.
Yeah, I doubt he's the guy.
Right, and they didn't pick him, so, the GM didn't pick him, so...
And by the way, if Caleb Williams was eligible for the draft last year, he'd be the Chicago Bears quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, without a doubt. 100% there with you. So, Tausch, let's go ahead and play a little Flush It or Flesh It. It's a win, so I'm guessing you want to flesh something out that happened throughout the game today, presented by the Gordon Flesh Company.
Yeah, I mean, first off, it takes a team to meet just about any goal. That's true on the football field, as it is in the office, so it's good to know you have the Gordon Flesh Company on your side for more than 65 years. What a great number, 65. GFC has been providing cutting-edge technology for companies of all sizes, and as the nation's largest Canon and Lexmark dealer, GFC delivers the latest office technology, serviced and supported by the most experienced professionals in the industry. That's business technology managed. Visit gflesh.com to learn more. Yeah, I mean, we could flesh out a lot of things and say, well, I am still fascinated, and I think you guys disagree, and that always makes me, from a flush it or flesh it standpoint, more intrigued. I think this is the most meaningful win of Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst's time as the heads of their departments at the Green Bay Packers. I firmly believe that. So let's flush or flesh that. You guys tell me if you want to flush that. I think we flesh it out and say, how is it not? Did you see Goody's reaction hugging all of his players? It's now his team. He never felt like it was his team without having his quarterback. It was, and he would have celebrated had he won, but there's always a little more when you know it's your vision and your guys that are doing it and playing the way you want to play if you're Matt LaFleur. So it just is more meaningful today doing it with this group than it was the 4 years prior with Aaron Rodgers.
I mean,
what do you guys think?
I think the first one is always, I mean, for LaFleur himself, my guess is he would still rank his first NFL win, which was against these very same Chicago Bears in Chicago to open up the 2019 season. Like, that one's got to hold a pretty special place in your heart, right? Like, at right now, maybe there's a little bit of, okay, this is different. This is going to be a little bit different. We don't have the Hall of Fame quarterback. It's more about process than it is the results. And so there's a little bit, I don't want to say the word doubt, but the circumstances are different, certainly. But it's not like he walked into a juggernaut when he took over the Packers in 2019. Yeah, you had Aaron Rodgers, but they missed the playoffs back-to-back years. And then you go in and you win your first game as an NFL head coach. You go 13-3 that first year. Like, that first win, I would say, is probably still more meaningful at this point. While today, I think, would probably be up there for LaFleur, I think his first one still, in terms of regular season wins, probably the most important for him.
I would agree with that. And then I would add that this doesn't mean anything unless, if this is the start of, like, they make the playoffs, that will be LaFleur's greatest season as head coach, if they make the playoffs. So if this is the start of something, almost like Marquette this year, where people didn't expect it and all of a sudden, then it's off the charts. But if this game is just a tease, because we will all agree, they played like a playoff team today.
Yes.
And so if you play like a playoff team, it's reasonable to think you could be a playoff team. Now, whether you're that far now, I'm not. But if it's a part of that, then this is huge. Yes, they'll go back and say, Tausch was right. This was the biggest. But it's got to be a part of something. Otherwise, it's just we're not bad.
Because even if you are in the camp that, and look, the Bears are worse than I thought they were. I thought the Bears would be taking some steps forward this year. Clearly they did not today, and I think they've got a lot of questions to answer. But even if you think that the Bears are just terrible, one of the worst teams in the NFL, like the Bears were the worst team in the NFL last year, so were the Texans. They didn't lose every game by 18 points. And it was really more than that because they scored 6 points in garbage time.
It was 38-14 at the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It was a boat race, dog walk, whooping.
But that's what what good teams do to bad teams. Yep. And that's what the Packers did today. Like, there's no denying that what you said is true, Homer, that today they played like a playoff team.
I thought you were going to come on and say, write it down, the time. This team will be in the playoffs. I thought that's what you were going to say. I did.
Yeah, I think I said this last week. If they're able to win this game and build the confidence that they need, I've always believed in the talent of this roster with Brian Gutekunst. It's young, it's inexperienced, and it's going to be up and down. But the fact that it's only going to get better and better, and by the end of the season, with the experience that they gain, I felt like if they were in position, they're going to be. And when you win games early, when you don't really know what the hell you're doing yet, yeah, you're positioning yourself to be a playoff team. And if you play like you did today, granted, I'm already seeing a ton of tweets and everything else that, well, the Bears suck, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's the first week of the year. Nobody knows anything. And for you to win a road game, a divisional road game, and realistically, your quarterback's first start without his best wideout, and his running back gets hurt midway through the third quarter, to be able to dominate a team like that, that is a great omen towards playoff berth.
I thought you were going to throw in they didn't flinch, too. When the lead got close at 24-14, and the Packers got the ball.
I think Matt LaFleur deserves a ton of credit for going for it on 4th and 3. The easy play there is to kick the field goal, and he throws the slant. I think it was Reed, the slant on that 4th and 3 when Chicago closed the gap. No, it's Aaron Jones.
No, that was Aaron Jones.
It was the touchdown.
That was the Aaron Jones choice route.
When you look at that play, those are the kind of plays that send a message to your locker room. And they tell you, this whole all blank and gas, no blank and break deal. All that stuff is just words on a script until you get to 4th and 3 from the 35 and you say, you know what, we ain't kicking a 52-yard field goal. We're going for throats. And then you get throats. And then you stomp on people with an interception. That sends a message to your locker room. That's Matt LaFleur saying, hey, we got nothing to lose. We are going to be aggressive, and we're going to go for throats when they're available. And the Bears' throat was sitting there, and the Packers snatched it.
800-990-3776. We do have some callers on the line. Hold with us. We'll get to you coming up next on Green Bay Game Night.
We're back with Green Bay Game Night after this on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ. From the tee box to the green and everything golf-related in between.
Same thing with Xander and Cantley. Like those four, because you're just going to pair them together. Like those four are safe on this Ryder Cup team. They're safe in 2 years on that Ryder Cup team.
On the tee with Gabe Neitzel and Stephen Watson.
Like JT and Spieth are still your horses. Like they are still your first team out.
On the tee with Gabe and Stephen. Presented by Wisconsin Golf Trips. Mondays at 6 on 94.5 ESPN.
Buckle up. It's all systems go at Potawatomi. Plug in to high wattage play and you could win an all-electric BMW i7. Play now through September with your club card. Prize drawings on Thursdays. There's a shocking $800,000 in total prizes on the line, including the luxury BMW i7. It's time to electrify your drive. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. More info at paysbig.com/BMW. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Get to and from every home game in Green Bay this football season safely. Milwaukee Brought House, Jack's American Pub, and Wanakee Golf Course all offer transportation on game days. They've got bus services with private restrooms and all-you-can-drink packages. Book your round-trip ride from any of these locations and get complimentary access to an all-you-can-eat and drink tailgate at the bar on Holmgren Way. Make your game day experience a VIP experience with your official ride to Green Bay.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit.
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit. Sit.
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust. Men can be their own worst critics, especially as we get older and compare our current self to the younger version. The experts at Forward Healthy Lifestyles in Germantown help men with testosterone optimization, regenerative medicines, heart health screenings, weight loss, and yes, sexual enhancement services. Forward Healthy Lifestyles can offer regained energy and endurance, more muscle and tone, enhanced performance, joint therapies, and more. Change your life and stop comparing who you are now to who you used to be. Visit forwardhealthylifestyles.com for a free consultation.
Kevin Morat here for Mentality Men's Health. We hear stories every day in our clinics that what used to work for guys doesn't anymore. Increase cardio, cut out certain food, nothing stops the changes in their bodies, especially the weight. The fact is, years of decreasing testosterone has packed on the belly fat that won't go away. We've introduced a medication, semaglutide, that helps drop 15% of the body weight on average while preserving testosterone. Join the over 20,000 Mentality clients and jumpstart your results. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
Is your business looking for localized banking solutions? Fifth Third Bank has been looking forward to the future and helping businesses shape what's next for 165 years. And for the last 14 here in Milwaukee. They offer industry-specific expertise, local decision-making capabilities, and extensive experience to help your business succeed. Fifth Third is big enough to provide sophisticated solutions and expert guidance, but also empowered to make local decisions and work from a foundation of strong community connections. Commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
Hey, Drew Scott here, and I'm Jonathan Scott, reminding you that life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance. They can help you get just the right protection at just the right price and help you save when you bundle home and auto. Kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It'll be just right for you. We love a custom build. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Aaron Jones now back in at running back.
Love to Aaron Jones. He walks in for the touchdown.
Aaron Jones had a great game. Did leave the game with a hamstring injury. But after the game, this from Ryan Wood, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Aaron Jones says he felt his hamstring bite at the end of his touchdown catch. Pulled his hamstring before, says it's nowhere near that bad. Jones didn't return, but he says score had a lot to do with it. He could have, if needed, he says. So that's from Ryan Wood. So it does not appear that the injury is all that bad.
Another great reason to be that far ahead.
Yes. That being said, I'm still going to be watching that because, and Tausch, obviously you can speak to this more than anyone. The adrenaline of a game, once it starts to wear off, some of those injuries get a little bit worse after that adrenaline starts to wear off. So I'm still going to be, well, it's good that he's saying, hey, I've done this before. It doesn't feel as bad. I'm still going to be cautiously optimistic about his ability to play against Atlanta next week.
Yeah, I think you should be cautiously optimistic. I think the other part of that is, though, you understand there's 17 weeks. And we all know how vital Aaron Jones is to this offense, so he needs to be healthy. You don't want running backs and wideouts, and that's, I'm sure, Romeo Doubs was able to gut it out today. I don't know how many snaps he took, but it was a lot more limited, I think, than what you normally would see. It was more red zone, and by the way, very effective with 2 tutters for him. Aaron Jones, unless he is flying back and back doing everything he normally does, I would bet that you're going to see a lot of caution with what he's going through, because the last thing you want to have happen is if you just felt a little something this afternoon, that can turn into something bigger, and then it's something that you're dealing with for the whole season. Sometimes you just got to play the long game, and we'll see when he goes in and gets an MRI tomorrow and gets the diagnosis as far as if he's got a hot tub missing step strain or a pow strain.
800-990-3776. If you are clueless as to what that means in the conversation, just download the Green Bay Game Night podcast later tonight and hear Tausch explaining the difference in the pow hamstring or the missing a step in the hot tub hamstring. There's a long story that goes behind that. Sugar-free.
Homer, that was... that was one of those I felt like Homer moments when that happened. Like, man, I'm getting old.
Sugar.
You are getting old. Yes, at the same rate as I am. I'm just way ahead.
800-990-3776. Sugar-free. You're on Green Bay Game Night with Homer, Gabe, and Tausch.
Gentlemen, Happy New Year to the show.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that.
You bet. So, holy macro, cool and collected. That is the new quarterback. Very cool and collected. I mean, we saw it a little bit in the preseason, but in front of a full house in Chicago, yeah, it's very impressive. I have a couple other points. I've got a fourth point now about Aaron Jones. I'll make it real quick. Number 2, Packers in the beginning, the defense, they were not tackling. And I'll tell you, the play that changed everything is when Alexander stopped Komet at around the 4-yard line. And after that, the defense turned. Number 3, Wicks. I don't know why Wicks is playing. Where is Heath? Wicks had plenty of errors out there. And then number 4, the most important thing. I mean, running backs, you can see in this new offense, the running game. I would say, since we have some money to play with, I would go out before Kareem Hunt is taken off the board by either Baltimore or another team. Go add another running back, a proven running back, to back up these guys. So that's what I got tonight.
Well, we certainly appreciate the call. Sugar-free, all those great points made. I doubt they're going to go out and get another running back.
No.
If they, I mean, again, they've showed interest in Jonathan Taylor. Although the report coming out today from Adam Schefter that when they had those talks, the Colts went, hey, what about Christian Watson? The Packers shut that down,
because
rightfully so.
They want a wide receiver. They understand the importance of wide receivers over running backs, even when you got one that good. Packers got a running back.
Mm-hmm.
Which is... The whole Jonathan Taylor compensation thing is hilarious to me because the Colts are going, hey, you're not valuable enough for us to pay you. And then they enter trade talks with everyone going, hey, what's one of your more valuable... Yeah, like, hey, give us your most valuable assets, and that's who we'll take in return for Jonathan Taylor. What's going on here?
Their owner's an idiot.
Yes.
Their owner's an idiot. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's
I know
simple.
Homer, that's a good friend of yours, but he's
he's not a good friend of mine. How would he be
I thought you go to, like, his concerts. Yeah, he's an idiot.
No, he puts together all these incredible...
Irsay's got concerts?
No, well...
Is he playing in a band like the Knicks owner?
He buys all these guitars.
He buys all this.
Yeah, he is just... Homer, he's the great example of somebody that thinks they hit a triple because they're on third base. He's the great example of that.
Just because you're on third base doesn't mean you got a triple.
No,
that's good.
That's enough. I don't want to talk anymore, Jim.
Right,
I'm done.
We're done with Jim.
This has nothing to do with him. Did you just invent that, or did you get that from somebody?
No, somebody said that.
Yeah.
Somebody a lot smarter than I said that.
All right.
The idea of a tailback. Now, Aaron Jones is special. I do think that one of the glaring things that came from this game, because there's not, this D-line stops the run good. They couldn't stop Aaron Jones at all. And he's getting 8 or 9. The only guy stopping Aaron Jones is Matt LaFleur. He's like Dean Smith with Michael Jordan. Who can hold Michael Jordan under 25? Dean Smith. Nobody else. So A.J. Dillon was not that guy tonight. And you need 2 backs. I think A.J. Dillon still has a good role on this team. But this needs to be, when Aaron Jones is healthy, I don't want any more ride shares. Get rid of the Ubers and everything else. It is a one-man show. You go until you need a blow. And then we'll give you a blow, and then you're going back in there. That's what this team needs from Aaron Jones, and that's what we should get from Aaron Jones. And if there's a veteran out there, they can get a JT23 or somebody like that, I'm fine with them doing that because this is going to be the formula for this team. Jordan Love, even though he played a really good game tonight, what was awesome is he made the big throws. He made big plays on third down, but he was also inaccurate on some other throws. He was not perfect. He was exactly what you'd think, and it was better than what I think most of us thought. He is going to still need that running game and that O-line to play the way that they did. And Brian Gutekunst, to his credit, and Luke Butkus and that coaching staff have put him in that position to be successful. A lot of quarterbacks, when they get that first start and get their first real action, they aren't in that position. So Jordan Love owes a lot to Goody for putting a supporting staff, cast, not necessarily tight end wideouts, but running back and O-line that are giving him a chance to have a chance, and he took advantage of that chance tonight.
Before we get Tausch out of here, let's go ahead and give the dog of the game presented by Sit Mean Sit.
We got dog. It's time for the Sit Mean Sit.
Yeah, we got Jimmy.
Dog of the game.
John Money Alexander.
Christian Watson. Quay Walker.
He's a dog.
Aaron Jones. Kenny Clark.
Presented by Sit Mean Sit Dog Training in Waukesha and Milwaukee. Visit sitmeansit.com.
Tausch, who's your dog of the game today?
Why it's so easy for me to pick a dog tonight. Why it's so easy? Because Devontae Wyatt was dominant tonight. The playmaking, getting in the backfield. And I don't even know what his snap count was, but I know when he was out there, he was an impact player. I was getting texts, wow, Wyatt's so hard, and all the funny jokes about Devontae Wyatt because of what, last year he wasn't as impactful. He's going to be impactful. He was a dog. And I think Kenny Clark's always the lead dog when it comes to that D-line. I think Devontae Wyatt is going to be the new tone setter. Love Dean Lowry's strength and everything that he brought to this team. But Devontae Wyatt is going to transform it and make this more of a I'm going to get you dog mentality. This is going to be probably the easiest dog pick of the year for me, and that's Devontae Wyatt.
When you make the dog pick, should we
How does he not pick Aaron Jones? How do you not pick Aaron Jones? The only time he played is the only time they scored in the first half, and he makes these incredible plays. The 4th down one, how? How do you not pick Aaron Jones?
I just did.
I know.
I literally just told you. No, I literally just went into a 3-minute diatribe about how I picked him.
How does that rank above? That's
what else do you need from me?
How is that above?
What else do you want? I gave you specific examples. You made the huge sack.
Here's my question. How does it rank above Aaron Jones? That's all I'm asking.
I just told you.
But you didn't address what Aaron Jones did. You just...
Yeah, I leave the low-hanging fruit for you. You're old.
There you go.
You need that low-hanging fruit. You can't climb no trees to get that good fruit up at the top.
Now you gave me an answer. Now I'm fine. Now I get it. Okay.
Hey, Homer, go ahead and take Aaron Jones. Oh, that's great stuff. He didn't even get me my 55 yards I needed in rushing for prize picks.
Not only did you see his reports when he was playing, but you saw they had no offense when he didn't play.
Yeah, he's good. I'm not arguing with your pick. It's a great pick. I just went a different road.
Okay.
That's all right.
I just asked why, and you told me. Low-hanging fruit.
But I asked myself why before, so you didn't have to ask me why.
Yeah, he did the Brett Favre thing. He asked himself the question.
Why it's so hard? Well, why it's so easy?
I just wanted to be part of that conversation. That's all, and thank you.
I really like the way Rasul Douglas played tonight. Like the way that he would come up at the line of scrimmage, he made a number of tackles right around there, had a pass defense as well. Like I think he's kind of quietly a very important part of this defense where everybody focuses clearly on, on Jair Alexander, on Rashawn Gary, on the superstars of that defense, or the guys that are supposed to be the superstars. But when Rasul Douglas can just be a solid corner and start playing the way he did 2 years ago versus last year, that's when this defense can really start taking steps forward and be the defense that a lot of people think it can be and be that top 10 defense. It's not about, Jair, and it's not about, the guys in the middle of that defense, Kenny Clark. It's about the Devontae Wyatts, the Rasul Douglases, the Keyshawn Nixons stepping up and making plays. So that's
hey, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Before I go,
let
me give you a little synopsis of why this was so meaningful for my guy Goot and Matt LaFleur. So let's just take a look at tonight's impact from Goody's last first-round picks. You guys want to do that, or is that something you guys might be interested in?
No, let's go ahead and do it.
Lucas Van Ness, one of the plays of the game, early in that game to get Justin Fields down on the ground as a 280-plus guy to get Justin Fields.
Showed that athleticism.
Wouldn't let him turn the corner. A sack, a couple other nice plays. My guy, Devontae White, just got my dog of the week. 1.5 sacks and a forced fumble. Rough. Rough indeed. Quay Walker, interception for a tutter. Pretty good. Jordan Love, 3 touchdown passes. Pretty good. Pretty good night for Goody. Pretty meaningful night for Goody.
Darnell Savage had 10 tackles. Darnell Savage
pretty
didn't
good
play
night for
bad.
Goody.
Yeah, he didn't play that bad.
Yeah, this whole season is about Goody.
All right.
You said it, and you're 100% right.
Tausch, we certainly appreciate it.
So far, so good.
So far, so good is right.
Look forward to talking to you next week after the Packers-Falcons game. And, of course, look forward to hearing you tomorrow morning on Wilby and Tausch starting at 9 a.m. on ESPN Wisconsin.
Sounds good, fellas.
Woof. The dog of the game brought to you by Sit Means Sit. If your dogs don't always listen, or you ask yourself, why don't they listen to what I say? Look no further than Sit Means Sit. If you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog. Contact Sit Means Sit Dog Training today in Milwaukee or Waukesha to schedule a free consultation. Go to sitmeansit.com and check out their Milwaukee and Waukesha pages. 800-990-3776. More of your calls, more of your reactions. The Packers beat the Bears 38-20. Coming up next on Green Bay Game Night.
Back after this with more Green Bay Game Day postgame on the Tundra Trio Radio Network. Presented by Island Resort and Casino and sponsored by Bud Light. 4 simple, high-quality ingredients: barley, rice, hops, and water.
It's football season at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, featuring the best pool in history, Stadium Swim. 3 levels, 6 pools, and a 143-foot diagonal screen. Stadium Swim is America's favorite place to watch football. Located at Circa Resort and Casino, open 365 days a year, and it will be the place to be for Green Bay's first ever visit to Las Vegas. Plus, the ESPN Wisconsin team will be live on site. Book your stay today at circalasvegas.com. That's circalasvegas.com.
The Boucher Group has exciting news to share with you. We've expanded to better serve our community.
Introducing Nissan Lake Country, the newest addition to our family.
Step into our showroom and discover our exceptional selection of brand new Nissans.
We're also stocked with the best pre-owned options in the market.
And as we expand, we're not just growing our inventory, we're also growing our team.
So join a team that values your skills and celebrates your success.
Visit us online or in-store today and view our current job listings at bouchercareers.com.
For kids at the Salvation Army, a meal isn't just a meal. It's fuel for imagination, determination, and dreams. It's energy to be role models, change makers, and to just be kids. With your gift to the Salvation Army, a full meal is provided to a child, which leads to a full heart, a full night's sleep, and a future full of possibilities. Donate to the Salvation Army today, and you'll show local kids love beyond hunger at samilwaukee.org. That's samilwaukee.org.
Sunday. That's right, folks. Great Lakes Dragway's 2023 race season is in full swing. Come out to see our annual events like Memorial Day Weekend, Labor Day Weekend, Nitrous Streetcar Brawl, Import Wars, Larry's Fun Fest, and Bug Fest. Looking for something new and exciting? Come see the Night of Fire Jet Show. Want the track all to yourself? Email or call about a private track rental. Go to GreatLakesDragaway.com for contact information and our full season schedule. Great Lakes Dragaway, just a burnout west of I-94 on County KR. Be there.
You're listening to Green Bay Game Day postgame with Gabe, Homer, and Tausch. Presented by Island Resort and Casino on the Tundra Trio Radio Network.
Packers victorious over the Bears, 38-20, 1-0 on the season. They'll head to the Falcons next week. And Homer, you said the line is already out for that game. Packers have flipped it. They went from being 1.5 dogs on the road to point favorites.
Yeah, just from it started, as you stated, Atlanta by 1.5 this morning with the Packers win. And Atlanta had
Atlanta won today against Carolina.
And so, the Packers are now a 1-point road favorite. So
800-990-3776 is the Boda Box Wine Line talk and text. We go out to Dean in Caledonia. Dean, you are on Green Bay Game Night with Homer and Gabe.
Good evening, my fellows.
What's happening?
How are you today?
Doing great.
Well, I'm just really impressed. I don't know if you remember me calling from last season or not, but I called, I think, in week 7 and called for Aaron Rodgers to be tossed.
I remember it very well.
Bring in Jordan Love, because this is what's going to happen, right? This is our new guy moving forward. I believe our defense is really, really strong. Really strong. I think our defense performed excellent today. And I think our young kids on the offensive side of the field are playing great ball, and they have confidence in Jordan Love. And I believe Jordan Love is going to be our third MVP quarterback that's going to lead the Green Bay Packers to another Super Bowl. I believe this. I what I saw today, I know Tausch is gone, but you asked him the question, are they going to make the playoffs? And I called it 3 weeks ago. As I watched the second preseason game, I looked at this team and I said, this is it. Finally, the quarterback is listening to the coach. The coach is running the plays instead of the quarterback. This is how a team works. This is how we move forward, and this is how we get to a Super Bowl. The quarterback has to listen to the coach. The defense has been awesome. I can't believe how great this team is looking, coming off a terrible season because of Aaron Rodgers. The best thing that happened is Aaron Rodgers is gone. That's the best thing that has happened to the Green Bay Packers. And maybe tomorrow night we'll watch him fall. I don't know. But I think that Jordan Love is the next coming. He's going to be good. What do you think?
I think tonight was a good I'm not ready to make that declaration myself. I think today was a great start to a career. And
you don't think we're going to the playoffs?
No, I do not. No, I don't. No, don't.
Really?
No, really?
Why don't you think we're going to the playoffs?
Because I don't think the team's good enough. They're young, and this is one game, and I've picked them. I went from 7 to 8 wins, and I don't think they're good enough to make the playoffs. So,
they won their first game against they won their first game against the division team.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they played like a playoff game tonight.
So they're number one in the division. They're tied for number one in the division.
Yeah,
after 1 week,
against
they were tied for first before anybody played too.
Right, but guess what? There's two more teams in the division that have a loss. So the Packers are tied for the division lead.
That they are, yes. And you could be right based on what you saw. I don't think they can do it enough games to make the playoffs.
You're incorrect.
All right.
I'm going to tell you right now. You can write it down.
I'm writing it down right now.
That doesn't mean much for Homer. He's going to lose it before the end of the season, Dean.
That's possibly true, but I'll have the book.
I wrote it down 3 weeks ago.
What are you saying?
The Packers are going to win the division.
That will get them in the playoffs, yes.
The Packers are going to win the NFC Central.
Got it. And do you have any idea what the record will be, or do you not care?
10 wins.
10-7. Okay. Good. Got it.
10's going to put them there. All right. So we'll talk to you next week, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for the show.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you holding on, Dean. I know you were holding on there for a long time. 800-990-3776. More of your calls, more of your texts. I know everybody's excited. I want to hear from you. Yes. Because, again, you pointed this out. They played like a playoff team today.
Yeah.
Can they play like a playoff team enough times to actually be a playoff team? That's going to be the exciting thing as we continue to move on from in this season. But today they played well enough, and we want to continue to hear from you. Packers win over the Bears 38-20. More of your calls on Green Bay Game Night coming up next.
More Green Bay Game Night coming up on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Ewald Automotive is extending Labor Day savings to bring you employee pricing all month long. Save big and pay like you're part of the team. Ewald can't be beat on price, guaranteed. We're passing huge Ewald employee savings on over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles. Go long with Ewald's exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. You've worked hard this season. Get the savings you deserve today.
Go to ewaldauto.com. It's football season at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, featuring the best pool in history, Stadium Swim. 3 levels, 6 pools, and a 143-foot diagonal screen. Stadium Swim is America's favorite place to watch football. Located at Circa Resort and Casino, open 365 days a year, and it will be the place to be for Green Bay's first ever visit to Las Vegas. Plus, the ESPN Wisconsin team will be live on site. Book your stay today at circalasvegas.com. That's circalasvegas.com.
Ready to ride?
Just let me get my flip-flops on.
Whoa, Mom and Dad are going for a ride without their protective gear.
Quick, grab the checklist. I'll grab the gear.
Just where do you two think you're going without your safety gear?
Yeah, you know how we feel about riding without your gear.
Well, it's so nice out.
And we're only going for a short ride.
Not before you put all this gear on, you're not.
But,
riding pants?
Okay. Check.
Motorcycle boots?
Bye-bye, flip-flops.
Check.
Armored jackets?
Nice.
Check.
Riding gloves?
2 pairs.
Check.
Last but not least, full face helmets.
Check.
Now you're ready to ride.
And you look cool.
All the gear, all the time. Zero in Wisconsin. Together, we can save lives. Learn more at zeroinwisconsin.gov.
Be home on time for dinner.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
Hi everyone, John Miller here from PDS, a converged company. PDS has been providing technology solutions and transforming IT for area companies for over 30 years. Today, we are helping organizations integrate digital workplace strategies that are giving today's worker the true ability to work from anywhere as they balance work and life both securely and productively. And as HP's largest partner in the area, our combined solutions have never been more important. If you're struggling with this, know we stand ready to help. From ideation to transformation, we can help you evolve your work from anywhere strategy. Learn more at pdsit.net.
Cousin Subs just got better. With our newest mobile app update, we've made it easier to purchase your favorite subs and sides with Apple or Google Pay and the ability to make split payments. And that's not all. Can we get your digits? Sign up today for our new text messaging program to unlock exclusive coupons and offers at cousinsubs.com or via our app. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
Take it to the house this season and enjoy tailgating from your own backyard. Tito's wants to make sure you have the best tailgate on the block. You can win game day gear for your next gathering by entering to win at titostailgate.com. Be sure to enter by November 15th for your chance to win a Solo Stove Grill, a Broommate back tap for batch cocktails, or a Tito's football jersey. For official rules, visit titostailgate.com. Must be 21 years old to enter. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
The end of one era on ESPN Milwaukee means the start of a new one. It's Kyle Brust and Nortman every weekday from 2 to 5, followed by the Homer Hour from 5 to 6. The debuts happen September 11th right here on 94.5 ESPN. You're listening to Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
More pressure, side steps, tucks it away, tries to fumble the football. It is loose, and it's going to be picked up by Green Bay. Disaster for the Bears, gets worse. As the Packers recover the fumble, they'll take over up 18. It's Rasul Douglas who comes away with it.
Packers victorious is 38-20 over the Chicago Bears. Kevin Burkhardt, Greg Olson on the call on Fox. We've got a text from the 414. Any concerns about the number of penalties? Seemed to be a lot of personal fouls. That one Bears drive was mostly penalties. I guess I allow for, and Packers total penalties, 9 for 90 yards. That's a lot, yes. And there were some personal foul penalties, and things got a little chippy. It's week one. The way that they play preseason now, there's going to be some sloppiness in week one. I think we've kind of baked that in, especially with what we saw from Aaron Rodgers the last handful of years, where week one outside of 2019 was, the last couple of years in 21 and 22 was bad because Rodgers wasn't a part of the offseason workouts and all those things. So I've come to get used to week one NFL football. There's going to be some things that are sloppy. And for the Packers today, that was penalties. I think that they've got an opportunity to clean that up. I'm not expecting them to have 9 for 90 personal fouls. I think all that's going to get cleaned up. I'm not that concerned right now about the penalties. Now, if it continues, over the next 3-4 weeks, then it's going to be a reason for concern. I feel like it was an outlier, especially because it was a lot of personal foul penalties today.
I think he's happy with it as long as they play with the kind of crazy energy they have now. This is a bunch of young kids going goofy. And they're going to do some stupid things, and he's going to address it. But this is kind of, to me, it's, if I had to say one player, the team is now Jair Alexander's team in terms of their approach and everything. Well, he got that, what was, I thought, a really smart hit on Fields. Mm-hmm. But then it creates all this other stuff. And so LaFleur, I think, he's going to address it. Don't be stupid. But he's not that upset with it because of the nature of the team that it represents, that they are now acting.
Not that this team is what the Legion of Boom was, but when you think of great defenses and how physical and just aggressive that they play, when you think about it over the last 10 years, because I would say that's kind of the line of demarcation of when things have kind of changed in the NFL as the rules continue to take away some of these harder hits for player safety and continue to have rules that really benefit the offense. When you think of some of those other teams, like the Legion of Boom, they got really physical. And every once in a while they would get called for penalties, but they were cool with that because they understood, okay, we get a penalty every now and then, but we live with that because the attitude that we play with is far more important than a couple of penalties here and there.
And it may be more Rasul Douglas as much as, Jair's the great player, but you mentioned Rasul, and he's definitely...
He played with an attitude today.
He's the secretary. Yeah, he is the assistant to Jair.
The vice Jair.
Yes.
Football fans, tailgating season is here. If you want to win at tailgating, you need to Bodify your beverage choice. Botobox wine is the ultimate addition to your tailgate party. This premium wine comes in a box fitting perfectly in your cooler or trunk. There's no heavy glass or corkscrew to deal with. 1 3-liter Botobox is equivalent of 4 bottles of wine, so it's great for sharing. Bring the wine that wins with Wine Critics. Botobox. This is how we Bota. Please drink responsibly. Must be 21 or older. Botobox Vineyards, Manteca, California. Let's go back out to that Botobox wine line, 800-990-3776, where we find Jim in Saukville. Jim, you're on Green Bay Game Day postgame with Homer and Gabe. Hey, Jim? Turn down your radio. What you got going on, Jim? All right, we'll try to.
That's special.
Try to get back to Jim in a little bit. So we go out to now David in New York. David, you're on Green Bay Game Night. Excuse me.
Good evening. Homer knows that I'm very pessimistic about the long-term future of the Packers. I am not as concerned as I was, but I need to remind you and the listeners that the Bears are one game away from being in a list of the top 25 worst teams in modern NFL history, which had a lot of 2-14 teams. The Bears were 3-14. Maybe they would have been 2-14 in a proper 16-game season. So I don't know what to make of this game. I don't know how much of it is the Bears are really horrible, one click away from being historically bad, and how much the Packers have improved.
But even if they are that bad, they put a whooping on them like you do, and this was close for a half. There are so many parts about it that you give the Packers an A. It wasn't a blowout from the beginning. It was close for a half. The Packers get on a roll, but then the Bears respond, and then the Packers
They buried him.
Yes.
They buried him.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I think the San Francisco 49ers, the Chiefs, would have put much more of a beating on them.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Sure. But David, like, this isn't. Like, even for me, and I don't think this is a playoff team, like, yeah, the Packers aren't in the league of the Chiefs or the 49ers right now. They're just in a different spot. The Chiefs, A, have the best quarterback in the league. B, the 49ers have probably the best roster outside of quarterback in the league.
And both of those teams would have been happy to be up 38-14 with a quarter left.
Well, I will say that I had called in, and Homer probably remembers this, where I was convinced that we're in for decades of futility. I'm still not convinced it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
I am stepping away from that, and I am saying that there's some.
No, how can you believe
I
that?
explained before. Well,
no, because you have people. You can argue how good Goody is. You can't say he's an idiot, and you can't say the organization is a mess. However, you may disagree with Mark Murphy. They hired LaFleur. LaFleur was a good hire. You can't argue, they haven't made any decisions.
I'm not convinced of that at all. I think he rode on Aaron Rodgers' coattails. If you look closely at the regular season games and the playoff choke jobs, a lot of wins could very easily, except for a few fluky things, been losses.
Yeah, but that's not the 70s and 80s. Hold on. That's not the 70s and 80s that you spoke of. When you say you're afraid they're going to go like this.
I want to clarify. I'm stepping away from that concern. I'm not convinced it's not going to happen yet.
Yeah.
I'm simply stating that the Bears are a really, really bad team, and we can't know for sure. And let's see them beat a team like the 49ers. They're not playing the Bills or the Chiefs this year. I'm not really convinced there's anyone that good in the NFC.
Next week.
But the Bears could be even worse than they were last year, and so you're talking about an 18-point game against a potentially historically bad Bears team.
Okay,
I'm glad.
Sure, I mean, but again, like
I thought it was, but
anytime you win by 18 points in the NFL, like, that's still professionals on the other side. Like, Yannick Ngakoue is a highly paid defensive player. DJ Moore is a highly.
I don't disagree. I'm just
you know what I'm saying? Like,
maybe people need to. I agree completely. I'm just saying you need to step back. Remember that the Bears were 3-14 last year, and they could potentially be an even worse team this year. And so we don't know how good the Packers are and how bad the Bears are, but I suspect it might have a little bit more to do with the Bears being really bad.
Okay, so what grade? What grade do you give? I give everything an A or an A+. I don't know how you can't give.
I give the Packers an A- or a B+ because you're talking about the end of a 30-year period of Hall of Fame quarterback play. Which I've been thinking about a great deal. And that's all good, but you have to remember who the opposition is and remember that there's a full season, not just a full season, but, a 2 or 3 year period to find out. And also, Gutekunst, you and your co-host went through his draft picks, and there were a lot of D's and C- and even some F's in some of his draft picks. So
right, but he's gotten better the last few years.
Everybody does. Yeah. The last 2 draft classes, I think, have a really good chance of saving his
job. Give me some credit again, because I am not as doom and gloom as I was in that call a few months ago. I'm giving credit where credit's due. I'm just encouraging a little bit of caution, a little bit of breaks before people drink the Kool-Aid too hard. That's all.
Yeah, we appreciate the call, David. And look, I mean, I think Homer, you even stated you still don't think this is a playoff team, which is fine. But you win by 18 points in the NFL. And maybe this is one thing we've taken for granted as Packers fans over the last 30 years of having Hall of Fame quarterback play. We hear players say it all the time. I've heard Tausch say it. I've heard Chewy say it. I've heard the former NFL players that we have, and I'm sure you're going to hear Brad Nortman say it when they start Kyle Bruston Nortman coming up tomorrow from 2 to 5. Anybody who's been in the NFL says, hey, you know what's hard? Winning in the NFL is hard. So when you win a game by 18 points, like, yeah, that's worth celebrating tonight.
And
that's worth looking at it.
And
going,
it wasn't that close.
Good.
Okay.
Yes, 100%.
They're up 38-14 after the interception with 12 minutes, with a quarter to go.
Yeah,
game's over.
You're thinking, how are they putting up a 40 burger?
So
how are they getting another one? How are they getting another field goal? How are they putting up 40 tonight?
Yeah, and how many games are you that far ahead? After the lead was 4 points at half, so it went from Was it 10-6? Is that what was it?
Yeah. And it's not that many. Like, even, this is what you do against really bad teams. Yeah. Like even if the Bears are historically bad, this is what you do. Historically bad teams, guess what, in the NFL? They come close to winning a game at some point because they're still professional football players.
Right.
Winning a game by 18 and it's not that close.
I mean, we all know how bad I think everybody thinks Arizona is. They were in it.
They hung with and had an opportunity to beat Washington today.
Yeah.
And there's a chance they go winless this year.
Yes.
That's a bad team. It's a really bad team down there in Arizona. We can talk more about that. We can also take more of your reaction because I'll tell you what, David inspired people to call in on that Boda Box Wine line, 800-990-3776. More of your calls, more of your texts. Coming up next, Packers win 38-20 over the Bears. It's Green Bay Game Night.
We're back with Green Bay Game Night after this on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Spectrum TV customers, you have lost access to Disney's unrivaled portfolio of live sports on ESPN, like college football and Monday Night Football, live sports and news coverage, plus kids, family, and entertainment programming, all gone. Take action now and tell Charter you want your networks back. Go to keepmynetworks.com to learn more.
Get your game on at the Island Resort and Casino with first-round picks of your favorite slots and table games. Bring friends and watch your favorite team compete on big screens. Grab game day eats in T. McSee's Sports Bar or celebrate your team's victory in Horizon's Steakhouse. To book your game time at the Island Resort and Casino, call 800-682-6040 today.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service.
It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey.
Riding with you every mile since 1977.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here. I played sports my entire life, been hurt a lot of times, but never had been injured until I had to stop doing the sports I enjoyed because my knee flat wouldn't allow it. I visited Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, where they took great care of me. I put my knee in their doctors' capable hands, and now I'm back in the gym, carrying my golf bag, pain-free for 18 holes, and playing tennis as often as I like with no issues. I'd recommend Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin to anyone. Visit orthowisconsin.com.
Bikers need protection, not just from other drivers, but unfortunately from insurance companies too. If you've been injured in a motorcycle crash, call Gruber Law Offices today. Bikers are often blamed for causing the accident because the insurance companies simply don't want to pay. At Gruber Law Offices, we've been fighting for injured bikers and their families for more than 30 years. Trust us to fight for what you deserve. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. At GMB, we give back by supporting local nonprofits, such as the Alzheimer's Association Wisconsin chapter. Did you know that the local professionals who work at banks are often some of the first people to recognize early signs of Alzheimer's and other dementia in their customers? This can include a customer appearing lost or confused, or showing unusual behaviors with their accounts. At Great Midwest Bank, we take our community responsibilities seriously. We're proud to be a dementia-friendly bank with training from the Waukesha Aging and Disability Resource Center. If we notice potential signs of dementia during a customer visit, we connect with customers and their loved ones. This fall, you can make a difference too. Sign up for the Walk to End Alzheimer's at alz.org/walk. Visit GreatMidwestBank.com to learn more about GMB's commitment to community and our Simply Giving mission.
Here in Wisconsin, a good old-fashioned is an important way of life. And that's where my friends at Perky's Old Fashioned come in. Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Game Night, so here to tell you about the easiest way to put together an old-fashioned. Perky's offers both brandy and bourbon old-fashioned mixes. And get this, the booze is already in there. Just add the soda of your choosing, and you'll have Grandma Perky's old-fashioned in the palm of your hand. Perky's is locally made and great for get-togethers of all kinds. Get perked up and head to Perky'sSpirits.com for your nearest Perky's location.
This is Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Aaron Jones remains out of the game. Fumble, but Love, it bounced right to him. Now back, now throwing. He's got a man wide open. Musgrave catches it, falls down. What a wild play. He's down to the 5.
I still haven't comprehended everything that happened on that play because Love fumbled it. It was clearly supposed to be a play-action pass. And then Musgrave somehow, I don't know if the safety abandoned his spot because he saw the fumble and came crashing in. And then the way Musgrave, and Olsen talks about it, the way Musgrave decided to try to catch it and backpedal, and the whole thing was weird and somehow worked out.
And it was weird because I remember, it was a couple weeks ago, the quarterback at USC did the same thing.
Where he fumbled it.
Fumbled the ball and got it, and then found somebody wide open down the field. And I mean, all those things are... like I said, all these errors are positive. Something like that happens, and you can make a mistake, overreact. Instead, you turn it into something positive.
And that's the most important thing. Of all those plays that Jordan Love made today, and there were a couple of throws that he missed, and I don't think there was anything that was, oh, wow, what an amazing throw. He made solid throws all day long. That was, to me, the most impressive play.
People seem open. Yeah. How often have we talked in various years with Rodgers? Nobody's open.
Mm-hmm.
Now people seem open.
Scheming guys open.
Yeah.
That's what this offense is supposed to do.
Right.
But I think that was the most important play for me for Jordan Love in terms of kind of evaluating him because he didn't panic. Ball hits the turf like that. How many quarterbacks either just fall on it, which wouldn't have been a bad idea, especially given the lead and everything that was going on at the time for the Packers. Just fall on it, live to play another down. But he was calm enough to just pick it up and just continue on with the play. Oh, here's a guy wide open. I'll get it out to him. Like, just calm under pressure. And that, to me, was the most important play for Jordan Love. If what I believe is true, and I know you're in this camp as well, this season is all about Jordan Love and his development. That's a great sign for Jordan Love and his development.
Yeah. I always think of you when Aaron Jones plays well because you've been the one to say it, and it's accurate, that he just hasn't been consistently. Because if he was consistently like this, he'd be MVP candidate.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of his ability to do everything.
He'd be talked about along the lines of, Christian McCaffrey and those top-end running backs. But instead, everybody gets upset when those lists that, ESPN and NFL Network do where they poll scouts and front office people and coaches, and Aaron Jones ends up outside the top 10 in running backs.
But he needs to do it. But LaFleur needs to give him the chance.
100%.
This crap of a two-man game is just off the charts.
Yeah.
And there may be...
Because A.J. Dillon today, 13 carries for 19 yards.
But we all see it. Yeah. I mean, the thought was at some point he could be, if you're old, you'd say Earl Campbell, but somebody that just runs over people.
Yeah.
He just doesn't do it at that level where... He's equal to Jones, but in a different way. He's just not anywhere near as good.
We saw it his rookie year. His rookie year was probably his best year. It showed us a lot of that promise, and he has not lived up to that really since. I feel like he's been chasing that game he had against the Titans where he had like 140 yards.
Yep.
And just hasn't been able to live up to it since. 800-990-3776. That's the Boat Box One line. If you want to join the conversation on Green Bay Game Night with me, Gabe, and Homer, let's go out to Ron in Sheboygan. You're up next on Green Bay Game Night.
Good evening, gentlemen. I've been waiting for this night for 3 years.
That's true.
I remember listening to a draft show on this very station with the two guys sitting at the mics right now. And when Jordan Love was chosen, the groans and the eye rolls and wasted draft pick implications and the whole ball of wax. And I thought, man, these guys don't see it. It's okay, because I get it. He didn't do it on the field. But Jordan Love has met every single challenge that he's been given since the Philadelphia game last year. Every single challenge that he's been given, whether it be in training camp, practice, joint practices, preseason games, and now today. And I remember, Gabe, I don't know if you remember this or not, but I remember the following year when Justin Fields was drafted, and you were very worried because you thought the Packers had wasted a draft pick on Jordan Love, and now Justin Fields is going to be the franchise quarterback that's going to lead the Chicago Bears back to dominance.
Very bullish on. I love Justin Fields coming out of college. Ron, I'll tell you this right now. I love Justin Fields going into this season. I'm not very high on Justin Fields anymore.
Yeah, because Justin Fields is what he is. There's no more excuses. Last year, the excuse was he has no weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So they spent big money. They got Chase Claypool, and they got DJ. How'd that work out today? Remember, and I just want to remind you, too, that you were all on the Chase Claypool trade. Goody doesn't make the trades when he needs to. We got to go get Chase Claypool. I'm so glad they didn't get Chase Poole. I said it at the time. He's a head case. I'm so glad they didn't get it, but everybody else was all over that. But now Justin Fields has no excuses.
No.
He's got the weapon.
I mean, and look, I'm still going to be critical of Goody of not going out and getting a veteran wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers last year, especially because it seems like he may have made some promises he didn't live up to in that case. And I still think that they would benefit from having a veteran on this team. Like I firmly believe that, and even though they won today 38-20, like having a veteran, I've just heard Ron. I've heard too many people that I trust. Like again, I do a show with Chewy each and every day here on 94.5 ESPN.
And Chewy said they were going to lose big time, didn't he?
He thought it would be a close game, and he thought it was going to be a close game that they would lose. He did not think that they were going to get blown out.
So I mean, sometimes you got to consider the source. I get it; these guys are NFL players, but they don't look always at the same things. And
no, but
you're one game ahead.
Ron, yeah. So, Ron, but the thing I'm talking about is when Chewy talks about, hey, this player helped me with my development, and having these guys around there that help you with things that coaches can't help you with, like that's more than making predictions or seeing things when, again, because Chewy's on the outside of the game. He has more inside knowledge because he played the NFL.
None of you are in the locker room to know.
No,
none of you are in the locker room to know.
But I'm saying what I'm saying is
you know, but you don't.
What I'm saying is
I definitely know, Ron.
What I'm saying is when Chewy talks about having veterans around and helping young guys and helping that with their development, like that carries more weight than anything else. Because
and who are you going to cut? Who are you going to cut?
Dontavian Wicks, Malik Heath.
Neither one of them deserve to be cut at this point. They've shown too much both in the preseason and
sure, at this point,
they're fourth and fifth receivers.
Yeah,
and you're going to bring in a Sammy Watkins?
Well, no,
get rid of those guys.
No, look, okay, Ron. You're getting way fired up here. I'm just saying a veteran to help out. Like I'm not. That's something I would have done preseason. They're clearly not going to go in that direction anymore. They're not going to go out and pick up Sammy Watkins. They weren't ever going to pick up Sammy Watkins. But I'm just saying, I think that a veteran, especially as the season goes along,
that's fine.
is going to be very beneficial.
I have one final thing that I'd like to say, and that is if you listen to David Bakhtiari over the winter, he said he was on Michael Silver. Okay. You know who Michael Silver is, former SI guy.
Yep,
he was on his show. And Silver started to complain about Goody and the Packers and not going all in, and how the Packers front office never supported Aaron Rodgers the way he thought they should have. And you know what David Bakhtiari's response was to him? I'm going to say the same thing to you. There's a reason why you're on the radio and Goody's a GM. Thank you.
All right. There are bad GMs, too. But
yeah.
No, this is.
Matt Millen had a job. Like there's bad GMs.
Right. So, but yeah, this season, and this is certainly one game in Goody's defense in terms of he's put the team together.
Mm-hmm.
So this they played like a playoff team. If they continue like a playoff game, this will be Goody's biggest season because it's transferring, just like what was the key to Ted Thompson. The key to Ted Thompson was trying to create something close to as good as Ron Wolf, which he did, and they won a Super Bowl. So that's the challenge. That's the same challenge for Goody.
Ring the bell, tip and tip tap for Green Bay's pro football team this season. Salvation Army salutes bell ringers this upcoming holiday season and asks that you donate into the Red Kettles or electronically with Tip Tap. Your support helps those in need throughout Wisconsin. More of your calls. Packers victorious over the Bears 38-20 as we roll on Green Bay Game Night.
We're back with Green Bay Game Night after this on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Buckle up. It's all systems go at Potawatomi. Plug in to High Wattage Play and you could win an all-electric BMW i7. Play now through September with your club card. Prize drawings on Thursdays. There's a shocking $800,000 in total prizes on the line, including the luxury BMW i7. It's time to electrify your drive. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. More info at paysbig.com/BMW. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at wipga.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
What advice would you give somebody that that's window shopping?
I'd have to say Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin plays at an MVP level in the replacement game. They came in ahead of time, measured all the windows, make sure they had all of the measurements. When the Pella people left, you had no idea they had been here. You just had the new window. They're great professionals, Gina, and some of the best in the world at what they do.
Right now, pay as low as $19 a month per window or $75 per month on patio doors. Visit PellaWI.com today. Pella's team of expert installers start with an in-home consultation and finish with no hassle or mess, leaving nothing but perfect results that stand the test of time. Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, pay as low as $19 per window and $75 per month on patio doors. Visit PellaWI.com today.
$6.99 APR for 120 months. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offers end 9/30/2023.
To be labeled as bourbon, a whiskey must be distilled from a mash that is at least 51% made of this grain.
What is corn?
Correct.
I'll take liquor for 800.
A cocktail of rum, grapefruit juice, lime juice, simple syrup, and maraschino liqueur is a daiquiri named for this American author.
Who is Ernest Hemingway?
Correct again, Marie. You're on a roll.
Liquor for 1,000, Ken.
Taking a shot of whiskey and immediately chugging a beer is a quote-unquote recipe for this drink, named because it was once served to workers ending their shifts.
What is a Boilermaker?
Unbelievable. Tell us, how do you know so much?
Well, Ken, I am from Discount Liquor, where we have an encyclopedia-like knowledge of all things alcohol. We've been a family-owned and operated business since 1960, and we've all grown up with alcohol as a second language. Our business has literally served multiple generations of Wisconsinites. In Milwaukee, on 51st in Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha, on Main and Barstow.
Discount Liquor. Looking for your next night out? Q Club of Wisconsin is the hangout spot for watching sports, playing games, and having some drinks. Mike, what you got going on over there, buddy?
Hey, Gary, there's so much going on here. We've got all your favorite teams on our TVs, more pool tables than you know what to do with, and live local bands playing on Saturdays. Plus, we got bocce leagues all summer long that we're signing teams up for right now. And, of course, our fish fry piled high on Wednesdays and Fridays.
And stop by for brunch on Saturdays and Sundays at 9 a.m. Check out QClubOfWisconsin.com.
Right now, more than 100,000 children waiting in foster care need our help. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is focused on finding them safe, permanent homes. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
The end of one era on ESPN Milwaukee means the start of a new one. It's Kyle Brust and Nortman every weekday from 2 to 5, followed by the Homer Hour from 5 to 6. The debuts happen September 11th right here on 94.5 ESPN. This is Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Look at the throw, save far side, it is caught for the touchdown. Romeo Dobbs, number
2. Packers are 1-0, 38-20 victory over the Chicago Bears. Along with Homer, I am Gabe on Green Bay Game Night. We still have you for an hour.
Mr. Watson. That hasn't been mentioned at all.
No. And again, the just the way they spread the ball around. 15 completions for Jordan Love, 2 catches for Aaron Jones, 3 for Musgrave, 2 for Reed, 4 for Dobbs, 2 for Toure, and 2 for A.J. Dillon. Like, you just spread it around with no Christian Watson. And look, I'm hoping Watson's able to go next week. Have no idea how close he is or isn't. You hope that Romeo Dobbs is able to go. But, I mean, they spread the ball around and were able to scheme for guys to get open. And Jordan Love did a great job. Again, third down. 7 of 9, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Is this reinforcement that there were people open and that Rodgers just wouldn't throw it to him?
I don't think so. I think they were running something a little different. And again, like the Bears, I think, really struggled today. So, because there were people open the years he was MVP.
Okay.
Last year there wasn't, and I think they just kind of went back to more of the stagnant stuff that Rodgers got mad at McCarthy for running. It just seemed like, and again, where you're just the 3 wides, you're not changing personnel.
But they did it based on the premise it was the best option. I mean, it's not, LaFleur doesn't all of a sudden become stupid.
No, but it was a hybrid of Aaron Rodgers, and it always was this way, a hybrid of things that Aaron Rodgers liked and Matt LaFleur liked.
But because they thought it would work better.
Yes, because of Aaron Rodgers, and you have to try to take advantage of his strengths. But last year, they just didn't. Like, if they would have run this offense as it's designed, the way we see San Francisco and Los Angeles run it,
right,
they probably would have been a little bit better last year based on the personnel. Now, with the freedom that Aaron Rodgers had with Devontae Adams, yeah, you don't want to be, hey, these are the plays, you can check to, and we saw it a couple of times today, you get to the line of scrimmage, because there's different audibles you can call off of that. But when Aaron Rodgers has the chemistry with the best receiver in the NFL, if they look at each other and they know the route that Devontae Adams is now going to change to, you got to take advantage of that too. Because Devontae Adams was that good. They didn't have anybody that good last year. They probably should have reverted back to maybe more of the LaFleur stuff.
All right. It amazed me that people weren't open, and then today, people are open.
Yeah.
I mean, open.
And part of it is he had plenty of time.
Correct.
He was only sacked once. I mean, those third down plays, he was 7 of 9, 129 yards, 2 TDs. I mean, how many times was he taking 5-step drops, had a chance to kind of hitch, and then get rid of it because it was a longer developing play and Reed was running the dig route or whoever happened to be running a dig route, over the middle of the field. They protected him well, and that's what allowed those guys, I think, to get open. 800-990-3776 is the Botobox Wine Line. We go to Ed in Virginia. Ed, you're on Green Bay Game Night.
Hello, gentlemen. I am super happy for Matt LaFleur. So I think the narrative is going to gain some strength of what's it going to be like to run your offense now that Aaron isn't there. I don't know how true it is, but I certainly think that he went in there and showed what he can do and prepare a team to really just look good on the first day of the season. And, over the years, he's been kind of quiet. He doesn't show Aaron up. He's never, really taken the bait of that question either about, the offense. And I think he's gotten some flack for that, and people kind of want him to be more temperamental, but I think he's just a gentleman there on the sidelines, and I'm really happy for him. And there's 2 other things I want to say. One is, if this keeps up, I think people are going to start to believe that there was some kind of conspiracy that everyone just agreed to kind of suck to get rid of Aaron Rodgers. And second of all,
hold on, wait a minute. The premise that they all
you've got to expound.
Do really well last year, so they get rid of Aaron Rodgers.
Right, that's why he kept Barry, because he knew he could actually put together a decent defense, but they kind of just decided to suck all year, so that eventually Aaron would just have to go.
Do you really think that?
I don't believe that, but no, I don't. But I think that's going to, people are going to start to say, well, why couldn't they play this way last year with Aaron? But second of all, something happened to me that made me kind of feel sort of like an existential crisis. I started to feel sad and sorry for Bears fans and the Bears too. I had hated them my whole life. And then it was somewhere in the third quarter, and I just started to feel this is this quarterback's first real game as the starting quarterback. He's just making you guys look awful. You guys just look terrible. I felt like I felt like, and this is like sort of a Mark Tausch analogy, like there was a bully in high school and just he was really mean. You go back 20 years later and you make some fun of him or something, you run into him, and then you find out he's just really, really pathetic. And then you just feel really sad for the fact that you've kind of disliked the person all those years and you held this grudge.
I don't feel that way about Bears fans. No, don't feel sad even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Especially because we ended this show last year with quite possibly the most famous Bears fan out there today in Big Cat from Barstool Sports calling us. And he was a great, he was a good, sport and all that when he called us last year. But he rubbed our faces in it that the Packers lost to the Lions.
By the way, Gabe, ESPN Milwaukee has reached out to Big Cat, and no word yet.
No word yet from Big Cat. He wasn't ready to come on after the Bears lost today.
Gabe, I think you should do some soul searching on that one and see if you have a heart, because there are sort of like these pathetic people that you do need to feel sorry for. They don't necessarily know that. I get the idea that they would say something like you would try to do something for them, and they'd say, "I don't need your pity," but then you just think, yeah, you do need my pity, man. It's so sad. You guys are so bad, and you're just going to be so bad.
No, I refuse. In life in general, Ed, yes, you started touching on some actual serious things there with bullying and kids in high school and all that. But when it comes to this particular instance, in Chicago Bear fans, zero pity coming from me.
Homer, what about you?
It's always been incredibly irrelevant to me because I thought it was horrific when the Bears were terrible and the Packers were terrible, yet winning the series kind of meant something. No, you have two terrible teams. Wisconsin and Marquette were that way in basketball during a stretch of the great Steve Yoder, Bob Duquette. Oh, yeah, but we beat. Doesn't matter. Both programs stink. And when you're good, I mean, the rivalry exists when both teams are good. Otherwise, it's just irrelevant and somebody lives right near the border. But the Vikings became a bigger rivalry because so many of the games were important. The Packers are just beating up on the Bears. It's 9 games in a row. This was the first time the Packers haven't been favored, and they were only like a 1-point underdog. So I don't feel any better because it was beating the Bears other than a division. I mean, it's just irrelevant to me, and it's the discussion people have when your team is bad. At least we beat the Bears. If we only going to win 2 games, I just want it to be against the Bears. That's the most pathetic thing in the history of the world.
Because in Brett Favre's last year, the Packers went 13-3.
Right.
You know who 2 of those losses were against? The Bears. The Bears beat the Packers twice that year. Who cares? Packers went 13-3. Right. They were in the playoffs. The Bears were not.
Right, and so you can observe and say why they have their problems, they get and all that kind of stuff, but it just doesn't make any difference to me at all.
We appreciate the call.
I'm soft-hearted, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, that could be it. Well, Good
Ed,
for you.
Ed, you're in Virginia, and Virginia's for lovers. Everybody knows that.
That's correct.
So the soft hearts from Ed in Virginia. Nate in Madison is up next, 800-990-3776. Nate, you're on Green Bay Game Night with Homer and Gabe.
Yeah, I don't know if this was ever brought up earlier with Tausch, but if I could pinpoint an unsung hero in this game, I would say it would be the play of the special teams, because if you look, last year it was so frustrating. The Packers would get the ball deep in their own territory, and they would have to march 80, 90 yards for a score, and then it would put pressure on the defense when they would have to punt it away, and then the punter couldn't get the ball barely past the 50-yard line in some cases. So this time, when you look at the play of Jordan Love, he actually had a shorter field to work with, which gave him, and which essentially made it a lot easier for the Packers to march down the field and do what they needed to, and they pinned the Bears deep. And I hope that continues, because it looks like they have a revamped special teams unit this year. So thanks for taking my call. You guys have a great show.
Yeah, appreciate it, Nate. And that's, again, just the continued development of Rich Bisaccia. I know there are people who are going, they're taking Keyshawn Nixon off a punt return? Why would they do that? Well, Jaden Reed looked pretty good today, didn't he? Returning punts. Three returns for 54 yards, including a 35-yarder.
Yeah, and those special teams become important when the rest of your team is good.
Yes.
The defense is better, and it's I just think it's massively overrated. Other than the fact that you have to have somebody that can make important field goals, but when you have weaknesses, the special teams become even more important. That you get great field position. Why? Because your offense isn't any good. When your offense is good, did anybody care about field possession during Aaron Rodgers' best years? No. Whenever they got the damn ball, they can score from anywhere at any time. When you can't do that, then yes, it becomes more important. And now when you have a defense that creates turnovers, scores points, then that's the difference.
We'll continue to take your calls. We'll continue to look at those text messages on the Boda Box Wine line, 800-990-3776. Plus, Jason Wilde's scheduled to join us at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
We'll get Jason's reaction to the Packers' 38-20 victory. More from you coming up next on Green Bay Game Night.
More Green Bay Game Night coming up on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Check out our brand new Hyundai dealership, one of the largest in the Midwest.
Step inside of our state-of-the-art showroom where you can view our new Hyundai models and some of our finest certified pre-owned.
We've also expanded our service center, staffed by our factory-certified technicians.
And right next door, we've started construction on our all-new Genesis of Waukesha dealership.
But we're not just building walls, we're building careers.
So if you're looking for a career with great benefits and opportunity for growth, Boucher is the place for you.
At Boucher, we ride with you every mile.
It takes a team to meet just about any goal, and that's as true on the football field as it is in the office. So it's good to know that you have the Gordon Flesh Company on your side. For more than 60 years, GFC has provided cutting-edge office technology for companies of all sizes, and as the nation's largest Canon dealer, GFC delivers the latest office technology, service, and is supported by the most experienced professionals in the industry. That's business technology managed. Visit gflesh.com to learn more.
Football fans, tailgating season is here, and if you want to win at tailgating, you need to Bodify your beverage choice. Boda Box Wine is the ultimate addition to your tailgate party. This premium wine comes in a box, so it fits perfectly in your cooler or trunk, and there's no heavy glass or corkscrew to deal with. One 3-liter Boda Box is equivalent to 4 regular bottles of wine, so it's great for sharing. Bring the wine that wins with wine critics, Boda Box. This is how we Boda. Please drink responsibly. Must be 21 or over. Boda Box Vineyards, Manteca, California.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. Visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
Unfiltered, shameless, and analytical. ESPN Milwaukee's next afternoon show is Kyle, Brust, and Northman. Weekdays from 2 to 5. And it debuts on Monday, September 11th at 2 o'clock. Right here on 94.5 ESPN. You're listening to Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Field stands in, delivered, intercepted. Quay Walker's got it. Looking for blocks. Walker still on his feet. Walker's still going. Looking for the end zone. Quay Walker is in. Touchdown.
Unfortunately, after that, Quay Walker suffered a head injury, had to go into the locker room after the game. Did not finish the game. Again, the way they kind of do it in the NFL now, they just say head injury. They avoid using the word concussion until maybe a day or two after to kind of confirm whether or not that player had a concussion as they're being evaluated. That's certainly another injury. Going to be keeping an eye on as the week goes along. Same thing with the hamstring from Aaron Jones, although Jones did tell reporters after the game that he's pulled his hamstring before. He used the word bite. He felt a bite in his hamstring, said it didn't feel as bad. So he felt pretty, and said if he needed to finish the game, he would have been able to finish the game. But the score kind of dictated them not using Aaron Jones for the remainder of today's game.
Yeah, you said earlier, and I think hamstrings are just always worse. They just are.
Mm-hmm. And again, when you're playing in an NFL game, there's a lot of adrenaline that goes into that.
Well, no, I mean, Watson's a great example. Like, when, what, how long's he been out? What actually, you don't know too much, but you didn't feel that it was that serious, and yet he's just not playing.
Yeah, missed a game. Who knows if he's going to be available next week?
Right.
Don't know. Just don't know. And with Romeo Doubs, I mean, Doubs didn't play in the final preseason game 3 weeks ago. was limited today in what he could do as they try to ease him back in. Don't know if he's going to be able to go full go next week. Have to wait throughout the week of practice to continue to see if he gets healthier. 800-990-3776 is the BotaBox Wine Line. Let's go out to Joseph in Madison. Joseph, you're up next on Green Bay Game Night with Homer and Gabe.
Hey, just wanted to say thanks for taking my call. I looking at this Packers schedule, I don't see a lot of games that I go into thinking, oh, the Packers are going to just, fall flat on their face. Like, they've got Atlanta next week, should be a winnable game. New Orleans, Detroit kind of scares me. But, looking at the schedule, it looks like the Packers could win 9 to 11 games. And, if Jordan Love continues to play like this, albeit the Bears aren't very good, they aren't, a run-of-the-mill top-flight team. But if Jordan Love can just show a fraction of what he did against teams like, they've got the Chargers and the Chiefs on the Lions on the schedule, if he can show just a fraction of that, I think this team, watch out as a dark horse NFC championship contender.
A dark horse contender. I'm not sure exactly what that means.
I look, today was fantastic.
Yep.
It's tremendous. Played like a playoff team today. With a young team, there are going to be games like this where everything goes right, where you fumble a ball and yet you're able to pick it up and find Luke Musgrave wide open down the field. There are going to be games this year where it looks like nothing could go right. That could be next week against the Falcons, who looked a little bit improved today, and that's not an easy place to play, go playing in a dome. Maybe it happens against, the Chargers or the Chiefs, a team that you're not expecting them to beat. Maybe they beat one of those teams and lose to it. With the young team, everything is on the table. They were ready to play today. And yes, if they are able to find that consistency, then what Joseph just said could possibly be true. But with young teams, that's always the tough part, is finding that consistency, is being able to hit that consistent and be able to repeat it. It's really hard for young players to do that.
Yeah, so you look at this. So now you have at Chicago, at Atlanta, New Orleans, the Lions. So what do you think they'll be after 4 games? And that's what it comes down to is, and then every game is winnable, but every game is losable.
Yes.
So they got to figure out, they just got to be able to do what they did, to me, 8 more times. I think if they win 9 games, I would think they probably would make the playoffs. Or
in the NFC, yeah. 9 wins could be enough.
And in the division.
My guess is
need 10.
I think you'd probably need 10 to win the division. I was impressed with.
Right.
I think Detroit's different. And everybody wants to take. The Kelsey was out and Jones isn't signed for the Chiefs. Sure, but I've been watching the Lions for how many years?
Right. They figured out a way to win.
Yeah, and
yes,
every Detroit team I swear I've ever
figured
watched
out a way to lose.
Correct. They found a way to win that game on the road to open up the season in one of the, if not the hardest place to play in the NFL, and that's impressive. That earns a tip of the cap, right? So I think there's something different about this Detroit team, and I think they get to 10 wins. So I think you're going to need 10 to win the division.
I'll buy that. But yeah, the Packers got one playoff-like team performance.
Yep.
Not just winning, but the way they won. And you said it, you don't win that many games by that many points. That's why point differential has been talked about for so long as being so huge. And that's why there are people that made, I want to say, hundreds of thousands of dollars betting against the Vikings when they were in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
You can't have a point differential like that and expect to win in the playoffs.
It's a negative point differential.
Correct.
Despite being 13-4.
So to win 38-20 is huge.
It's huge.
And
even if the Bears are the worst team in the NFL again, they end up with the number 1 overall pick. How many times are they losing by 18 points this year?
Right.
Probably not much.
So you got to find, and they're going to have to have a few wins when they play badly to get up to 9 or 10. But this will be the week of Packers playoff team.
Certainly everybody's going to want to talk about it. We want to continue to talk about it with you. 800-990-3776 is the Boda Box wide line. More of your calls and texts as the Packers beat the Bears 38-20 coming up next on Green Bay Game Night.
We're back with Green Bay Game Night after this on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
For kids at the Salvation Army, a meal isn't just a meal. It's fuel for imagination, determination, and dreams. It's energy to be role models, change makers, and to just be kids. With your gift to the Salvation Army, a full meal is provided to a child, which leads to a full heart, a full night's sleep, and a future full of possibilities. Donate to the Salvation Army today, and you'll show local kids love beyond hunger at samilwaukee.org. That's samilwaukee.org.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust. Men can be their own worst critics, especially as we get older and compare our current self to the younger version. The experts at Forward Healthy Lifestyles in Germantown help men with testosterone optimization, regenerative medicines, heart health screenings, weight loss, and yes, sexual enhancement services. Forward Healthy Lifestyles can offer regained energy and endurance, more muscle and tone, enhanced performance, joint therapies, and more. Change your life and stop comparing who you are now to who you used to be. Visit forwardhealthylifestyles.com for a free consultation.
The simple click of a seatbelt can mean the difference between life and death. But don't just take it from me.
As a nurse for the last 34 years, I've seen way too many people seriously hurt in crashes because they weren't wearing a seatbelt. Please protect yourself. Spare your family and emergency responders from needless trauma. Buckle up. Every seat, every trip, every time.
A life-saving message sponsored by the U.S. and Wisconsin DOTs.
Hi everyone, John Miller here from PDS, a converged company. PDS has been providing technology solutions and transforming IT for area companies for over 30 years. Today, we are helping organizations integrate digital workplace strategies that are giving today's worker the true ability to work from anywhere as they balance work and life both securely and productively. And as HP's largest partner in the area, our combined solutions have never been more important. If you're struggling with this, know we stand ready to help. From ideation to transformation, we can help you evolve your work from anywhere strategy. Learn more at pdsit.net.
A bank that goes the extra yard? You got it. Show your love for the green and gold with Packers checking only from Associated Bank. Make every transaction a touchdown with your Packers debit MasterCard. And when you use it at the Packers Pro Shop, at the stadium, or online, you'll get 10% off. Associated Bank's Packers checking scores the home field advantage by delivering Midwest-based customer care, outstanding value, and more. Get in the game and learn more today at associatedbank.com/Packers. Member FDIC.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here. A couple years ago, my knee was acting up. As an athlete, I've played through pain before, but it was getting to the point where I couldn't compete in the sports I loved. I decided to check out Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. It's the best decision I've made. I felt no pressure to have surgery. That was important to me. We had choices. I ultimately did choose to have a procedure. I was in and out in just hours and back in action shortly after. I recommend meeting their doctors. Visit orthowisconsin.com today.
Brian, why are you stacking books on the floor?
I want to stand while I work. Standing desks are all the rage these days.
Well, it's a good thing that these desks move up and down. You did know that, right?
What? They do?
Yeah, we're not messing around here.
This is great. Now, only if I had a chair to swivel around in.
Do you just not pay attention to everybody else's desks?
Well, no wonder I'm not getting much done these days.
Coakley Brothers and Brothers Interiors, the official moving and furniture provider of GKB Milwaukee.
If you see something, why do you say something?
I see safe for my friends.
For my community.
For everyone here. We all have something worth protecting, a why that unifies us. Report suspicious activity to local authorities. If you see something, say something.
Unfiltered, shameless, and analytical. ESPN Milwaukee's next afternoon show is Kyle, Brust, and Northman. Weekdays from 2 to 5. And it debuts on Monday, September 11th at 2 o'clock. Right here on 94.5 ESPN. This is Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
The Boda Box wine line is 800-990-3776. Kevin in Washington asking, when will Wilde call in? You only have to wait about 9 more minutes. We're going to hear Jason Wilde coming up at 9 o'clock as he will give his analysis of the Packers defeating the Chicago Bears by the final of 38-20. Packers score 28 points in the second half. And that was one of the more impressive things about today, to me, Homer, was you get into the fourth quarter, and with a young team, all right, now we get to find out a little bit more. We get to the fourth quarter, yeah, the Packers are up, but the Bears just marched down. Packers had a couple of stupid penalties that assisted them in a touchdown drive. 6 plays, 65 yards to make it 24-14. And
it was a game on.
Mm-hmm. And what do the Packers do? Well, they get great field position because of a face mask penalty on a Keyshawn Nixon return. 5 plays, 61 yards. 5 plays, 61 yards for a touchdown.
And they had a third and 8.
Put the game away. Yep. Had a 3rd and 8, and that's where Jalen Reed had an 18-yard reception. And then they had the deep pass to Luke Musgrave.
Right.
And then they hit Romeo Doubs.
But, I mean, they don't connect the 3rd and 8. And I don't know what they said that Jordan Love, I looked, was that second half that he was so good on 3rd down? Because I swear in the first half he didn't. I mean,
and for the game, he was 7 of 9 on 3rd down for 129 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Wow. We'll have to look.
Because so their first 3 and out, he completed a pass because he was 3rd and 15. They played soft coverage, so he completed one to Musgrave for 9 yards. Second 3 and out was one of his incompletions on 3rd down. And then he had a scramble on a 3rd down that ultimately then they decided to punt it away. So those were the 3rd down kind of in the first half situation. So he would have been 1 for 2 early in the game on 3rd down. But yeah, second half 3rd down, he was lighting it up. 3rd and 4th down, I should say, was the 7 of 9 for 129 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that's big. When the defense is looking to get you off the field and you do that, that's tremendous. That's tremendous from Jordan Love today. I mean, he gets an A. If this season is all about the growth of Jordan Love, game 1's an A. We'll see what game 2 is, but game 1, it's a resounding A from Jordan Love.
Yeah. Well, not everybody likes quarterback rating. I think it was at 120. When you throw touchdown passes and don't throw interceptions, that's the definition of great quarterback rating by one Aaron Rodgers.
Yep. Yeah.
And you're always going to have, in this system, you're always going to have reasonably good completion percentage.
Yeah.
If, as you said, you have enough time to throw the ball and you aren't forced to do things before or where you really don't want to do it.
And that was the thing. As the game went along, Jordan Love just got better. Because in that first half, as you mentioned, there were times, it took him a while to get above 50% in terms of the completion percentage. He had more incompletions than completions for a long time in this game. And in the second half, I'd love to see what the overall second half numbers were, because that's when he played his best football. I don't know if it was nerves. I don't know what it was in the first half, but he played a lot better in the second half than he did in the first.
Right. They only had 100. I don't know what is 78. The yardage in the first half was incredibly small of him throwing in everything. Well, partially because you had no Aaron Jones.
Yeah, that was, for whatever reason, he wasn't in the game for a couple of those series.
No,
in the second
he was
quarter.
in the first series of the game, and then I don't think he came back. I'm not sure if he was back.
Well,
because
I think
they
went
half.
They went 3 and out, 3 and out. I don't think he was on the field for any of those 6 plays. Then maybe he got back out there. It wasn't few and far between, certainly, for Aaron Jones in that first half. Didn't matter, though, because he had a strong second half. Tweaked his hamstring. Said that, though, if he had to go back into the game, he would have been able to, but the score dictated that he did not have to play as the Packers blow out the Bears 38-20. Get to and from every home game in Green Bay this football season safely. Milwaukee Broadhouse, Jack's American Pub, and Wenatchee Golf Course all offer transportation on game days. They've got bus services with private restrooms and all-you-can-drink packages. Book your round-trip ride from any of these locations and get complimentary access to an all-you-can-eat and drink tailgate at the bar on Holmgren Way. Make your game day experience a VIP experience with your official ride to Green Bay with Herd Hospitality. Jason Wilde will break down the game for us as he joins us next on Green Bay Game Night.
We're back with Green Bay Game Night after this on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Get your game on at the Island Resort and Casino with first-round picks of your favorite slots and table games. Bring friends and watch your favorite team compete on big screens. Grab game day eats in T. McSee's Sports Bar. Or celebrate your team's victory in Horizon's Steakhouse. To book your game time at the Island Resort and Casino, call 800-682-6040 today.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious crash? It's free. Yes, free. As in, it won't cost you anything to speak with us. Not sure if you have a case? Call our team at Gruber Law Offices today. Your first call and your first consultation are always free. And you'll never pay us a fee until we win your case. If you've been seriously injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Football fans, tailgating season is here, and if you want to win at tailgating, you need to Boatify your beverage choice. Boaty wine is the ultimate addition to your tailgate party. This premium wine comes in a box, so it fits perfectly in your cooler or trunk, and there's no heavy glass or corkscrew to deal with. One 3-liter Boaty box is equivalent to 4 regular bottles of wine, so it's great for sharing. Bring the wine that wins with Wine Critics Boaty Box. This is how we Boda. Please drink responsibly. Must be 21 or over. Boaty Box Vineyards, Manteca, California.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and you gotta love finding change in the junk drawer, or even better, a 20 in your laundry or pants pocket, right? But the best source of extra cash may be in the walls of your home. All right, wait. Now, put down the sledgehammer and tap into the value of your house by setting up a home equity line of credit and experience a state of tranquility, knowing funds are there when you need them. Get started at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust for Road America, where vintage racing lives on. Experience the sights, sounds, and smells from motorsport's pioneering age in historic Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Road America's 2023 season offers numerous opportunities to watch vintage race cars take on the iconic 4-mile road course. The Aaron's Art of Wheels Vintage Weekend wraps up the 2023 Road America race season September 15th through the 17th. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com. Road America, America's national park of speed.
Kevin Moret here from Mentality Men's Health. Guys, did you know that the stored belly fat reduces your free testosterone? The more the belly grows, the harder it is to drop, mostly because of the decrease in free T. It's a vicious cycle that men are losing, and unfortunately, everyone can see it. Mentality breaks that cycle with semaglutide, an industry-changing weight loss medication that can help you lose up to 15% of your body weight while preserving your testosterone. Join our over 20,000 clients to look and feel the way you deserve. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Until justice stands for all, our lawyers will never rest. More at earthjustice.org/neverrest. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
Unfiltered, shameless, and analytical. ESPN Milwaukee's next afternoon show is Kyle, Brust, and Northman. Weekdays from 2 to 5. And it debuts on Monday, September 11th at 2 o'clock. Right here on 94.5 ESPN. You're listening to Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Just let me cry a little bit longer.
Packers victorious 38-20 over the Chicago Bears. 1-0 on the season are the Packers, and to help us break it down, we welcome in our friend, our teammate. We welcome in Jason Wilde. Good evening, Jason.
Good evening, guys. How are you?
Awesome. They boat raced him. They dog walked. They just whooped them up 38-14 with 12:32 to go. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear you're so great. I'm great, too. You know why?
Why?
Because Jordan Love was really good today. And, look, there are a lot of things that you can say that I am. You can say that I'm sensitive.
True.
You can say that I'm long-winded.
Also true.
You can You can say that I'm a helicopter parent.
I can't say that I'm not your kid, so I can't.
You oversell that. That's not true. You're just a special parent.
Work,
yeah.
You're a special parent.
He is.
So
he does stuff with his kids I would have never done. I'm sorry. I'm not driving you that far. I don't care how bad you want to do whatever it is you want to do. No. Okay, sorry.
You can say I'm a grudge holder. You can say that when someone says they don't want me to do something, but I am insistent on doing it, like calling Homer the ghost of Wisconsin sports radio history, I don't stop, and I'm stubborn. But I'll tell you what else I am. I am someone who can admit when they are wrong. Now, Paula, that is not on her list of things that she does, but that's another discussion for another day and for our marital therapist, which we don't have. We're great. I'm really lucky to be married to her. But they were damn good today. Now, do I think the Bears stink? I do. The difference between Jordan Love and Justin Fields, even though Justin Fields has started a heck of a lot more games at this point after coming into the league a year later than Love, the field tilted in the Packers' favor. There's no doubt about it. Do I think that there will be more difficult times ahead, and I'm not willing to abandon the idea that there are going to be growing pains and disappointing losses? No, I'm not going to stop saying that. He's going to have some tough times. Today was not one of them. He was fantastic. He wasn't perfect, but he was everything you could have possibly asked from his first start as QB1, which, by the way, even Jordan struggles with that. He keeps calling it his first start, and then he corrects himself because obviously he started in Kansas City in 21. But everything you could have asked for from him today, he delivered. He was still the thing that we already knew about him is that he's calm and he's poised and he doesn't get rattled, and there was no doubt that was the case. But like some of the plays that he made with his legs. Now, should he slide? And did I get a laugh out of him when I asked him if he ever considered that? And he said that he had talked to his agent and told him he was going to run somebody over today, and his agent said, "Please don't do that." But he's a competitor. Yeah, he could have done that a little bit better. They did have the 2 3-and-outs on the second and third series after the Bears, gave him the ball at midfield with that third and fourth direct snap to Cole Kmet, and then a guy who's known for being a good runner can't get 6 inches. That was helpful to that first drive to get them a lead, but everything you could have asked for them to do and for Jordan Love to do today, he didn't make any mistakes. You saw his counterpart lose a fumble. You saw him throw an interception that turned into a pick 6. You didn't see Jordan make those types of mistakes. So, look, he was magnificent. I would just say to those folks, and I don't know how many of them there are, and Homer tells me not to worry about them, but I have never been rooting against Jordan Love. And Jordan certainly knows that from our conversations in the locker room. But I still have things that I want to see more of. But today, for this night, there is no reason for you to keep your enthusiasm and excitement about Jordan Love under wraps or in check. And frankly, the Packers clearly aren't, because listening to that locker room as we waited for Matt LaFleur to come into the interview room, the cacophony that was coming out of there and the excitement that was coming out of there when they gave Jordan Love a game ball, Matt LaFleur came in and said that there is a big-time belief in him in that locker room. And I almost got Jordan to tear up. That was my goal. I came up a little short, but he definitely got emotional when I asked him if he was aware of how much his guys supported him and loved him and how much it meant to him. And so this was a dream start to the Love era. There are going to be some struggles, but for tonight, enjoy every last drop of it.
On the injury front, Jason, Quay Walker left the game with a head injury after that pick 6 that you mentioned. What is the concern level for him? And I know Aaron Jones after the game said, well, if I had to go back in, I could have, because it was more of a bite. And he's pulled his hamstring before, but this was just more of a bite at his hamstring. And he feels like he could have played. But is there any concern that after the adrenaline of the game wears off, that he may end up missing a game or two?
We're not that far down the road on how much time he might miss, but you're 1,000% right. That's what players do, and that's especially what Aaron Jones does. Like, he would have gone back in. I mean, there's no doubt about it he would have. But seeing him grabbing at his hamstring, that was more than a cramp. Now, whether or not it is just what did he call it, a bite?
Mm-hmm.
That's great if it is, because he turned on the Jets on that fourth down play. I mean, nobody even touched him after he caught it. It was really impressive, and he is an underappreciated player. There's just no doubt about it in my mind. In the Packers' annals, he is way less appreciated than he absolutely should be. So I do think that there's some concern. Players always, when they're riding on adrenaline, talk that way. So let's wait and see what the week brings with him. Quay Walker, man, it's funny, the angle that we have in this poorly positioned press box at Soldier Field, where that's the corner of the end zone where I'm sitting, and I saw him coming to the pylon, and I saw him get walloped, and then I saw everyone celebrating around him, and I swear they didn't realize that they were essentially holding him up while they were hugging him and tapping him on the helmet, because he got hit really hard, and you could see him come over to LaFleur on the sideline, and he was groggy, and LaFleur kind of gave him a hug and congratulated him, and then at some point I think they realized, hey, he took a really hard hit. So, I'm guessing he will be diagnosed with a concussion. They did not. They just said he was being checked for one. We don't know if he actually was diagnosed with one, but I would think he'll probably be in the concussion protocol. We'll learn tomorrow. So beyond that, though, for a team that came in, without Christian Watson and with Romeo Doubs on a snap count, and with Rashawn Gary coming back from his ACL on a very limited snap count, I think they got out of here pretty healthy. Jaden Reed had that one play that was a little scary at first. I thought he'd really hurt himself. Turns out he just had a cramp, and he was there to cover the onside kick at the end of the game.
Jason, I just thought they played like a playoff team. It doesn't mean they're a playoff team, but this is what a playoff team does. They just whooped up on another team, even when the team came back and made it reasonably close. And as much as you appropriately talked about Jordan Love, I just thought it was the team. I mean, he was fine, but everybody was fine. Everybody did everything.
Yeah, and look, Matt LaFleur has tried to say this repeatedly, but he also understands how this business works. It's a quarterback-driven league, and the focus is going to go on the quarterback. Yes, I feel like I actually talked a lot about Aaron Jones there. Jair Alexander followed DJ Moore. He had kind of a quiet day, I thought. Interesting that having your number one corner match up with the number one wide receiver sometimes turns out to be a good idea. Might want to try that more often. I thought Romeo Doubs, who, again, did not play a ton, certainly didn't play as much as he normally would, he could play it. I mean, I don't think he takes a back seat to Christian Watson for anything other than the downfield balls that Christian Watson and his speed are capable of creating.
But don't they both take a downsize
sure
to the running back why does he not play? Why does Aaron Jones not play the whole rest of the first half? What is?
Yeah, I think this is like the new parlor game that everyone loves to play, and it goes all the way back to McCarthy. Look, he's not a big guy. I know he's really adept at turning his body and making sure he doesn't take any direct hits. But again, I don't know how you can criticize LaFleur for, he got 5 touches on the opening drive. They had 2 3-and-outs after that.
Because he wasn't on the field. That's why they were 3-and-outs.
Right, nobody is on the field all the time as a running back anymore. Nobody does that.
How much?
Except maybe Derrick Henry.
Well, but what?
And by rationing his work and then playing him a lot to start the second half. Like, look, I thought that the turning point of the game was, Love misses Musgrave down the field on what should have been a 56-yard touchdown. On the very next play, Love hits Reed for 30. Like, that was one opportunity for Love to have made a mistake or having failed on a play and then have it snowball into another mistake. And instead, the very next play, boom, right? So that was huge. They get a field goal. They know they're getting the ball to start the second half. And then for them to do what they did on that opening drive of the second half to go up 17-6, I thought was huge. And you saw the key components of what Aaron Jones does with the ball in his hands. He had the 51-yard play on the well-blocked throwback screen, and then he had the touchdown on the choice route where he ran away from everybody. Well, I guess I understand, we want to be process-based, not results-based, but he had 127 yards. He made two of the biggest plays in the game. He scored 2 touchdowns. But you also don't want him running some of the plays that you run with your big bowling ball running back, because if you want somebody to be getting hit hard by the defense, no offense, A.J. Dillon, but you're the one that I want getting hit. So I know there are people that have a problem with him not being on the field for 60 snaps a game, but I just don't think that that's in his best interest. He's a 5'9", 200-pound dude that I don't want to. I want to helicopter my running back. I want to make sure that I have him as much as I can while also being smart about how much I put him out there. I don't have a problem with what LaFleur did.
Jason, we appreciate the time. Look forward to hearing more of what you had to say about tonight's game, a Packers 38-20 victory. Tomorrow on Wilde and Tausch, which begins at 9 a.m. on ESPN Wisconsin.
All right, guys. Take care. Be good.
Jason Wilde, he will join us after each and every Packers game right here on Green Bay Game
and
Night.
defend how little they use Aaron Jones. I'm sorry. What do you have, 15 touches or something?
No, it was less than that. He only had 11.
Yeah.
9 carries, 2 receptions.
I don't got to run him the same plays I run Aaron Jones. Or I mean that I run A.J. Dillon. And I'll look at other teams and how much. All right, how much does McCaffrey play? I want him playing as much as McCaffrey. Is that wrong?
I don't think so. If you want to hold those two in, if you think that he holds similar company, just looking at the box score for.
But yeah, they were 3 and out because he wasn't in. Then they go 3 and out. Hey, what was similar? What was similar about that? Oh, Aaron Jones wasn't in again.
So again, I don't know what the snap count was for Christian McCaffrey, but he had 25 touches today.
All right. Yeah.
22 catches, 3 receptions. 22 carries, 3 receptions.
And I think, I'll defer to you on this. Like, I want to have a way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Snap touches seems to be, or snaps that you're in there, that seems to be an important part too.
Yeah.
So how many, and then what percentage? It makes no sense to have him on the field and not use him. And you brought it up, and it's accurate that there's an inconsistency.
Mm-hmm. And again, some of that is lack of touches. Some of that is him just not being productive with those touches that he gets. So the Packers have gone elsewhere, whether that's Jamal Williams, whether that's A.J. Dillon in the past.
And I would add, McCaffrey's hurt all the time too.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Does it seem to change what they do?
No. Because when he's healthy, they want to use him.
Yes.
They're not. They weren't very careful. Again, he had 25 touches today. McCaffrey did in a game where the Niners blew out the Steelers from.
Right, and I want to look at the other running backs and how many touches they get. Because to me, who's ever his backup, A.J. Dillon's that person.
Elijah Mitchell would be the backup running back for the San Francisco 49ers.
And how many?
He had 5 carries.
Okay. How many? What do we have for?
A.J. Dillon had 13. But again, some of that was. He had a lot of carries. I don't know how many, but he had a lot of carries after Aaron Jones was injured. The Packers were blowing out. The Packers were blowing out the Bears, so now they just want to run the ball to run out the clock. So A.J. Dillon ended up getting more carries because A. Jones was hurt. So then,
the first half is what I'd look at because he's healthy. Aaron Jones is healthy, and I don't think he was in any series other than the first one.
I think he was in on the field goal series at the end of the half.
You're right. Yes. Yeah. On 1st and 10, they threw to him in the flat, incomplete. But I think that's the only time he actually touched the ball.
Yeah.
On that last series.
But at least he was in the game. Like, I don't think he was in the game on those other series that you were.
So which is
referencing.
Worse? I will grant you this: if you're not going to use, I don't know. Maybe he's a good distraction. I don't know.
If he's on the field, you can still.
All right. We're going to come up with some numbers, but the premise is basically this is not a two-man show.
He's Homer. I'm Gabe. We'll wrap things up. Give our final thoughts on tonight's Green Bay victory over the Bears, 38-20. Again, you can join the conversation at 800-990-3776 on that Boda Box Wine line. Final segment is next on Green Bay Game Night.
More Green Bay Game Night coming up on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
It's football season at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, featuring the best pool in history, Stadium Swim. 3 levels, 6 pools, and a 143-foot diagonal screen. Stadium Swim is America's favorite place to watch football. Located at Circa Resort and Casino, open 365 days a year, and it will be the place to be for Green Bay's first ever visit to Las Vegas. Plus, the ESPN Wisconsin team will be live on site. Book your stay today at circalasvegas.com. That's circalasvegas.com.
To the best crew in baseball, this is for you. Join Brewers Fan Appreciation Weekend September 15th through the 17th. As a special thank you, enjoy buy one, get one beer on Friday the 15th. Gate giveaways all weekend, including 2024 Brewers ticket vouchers and a Fan Appreciation Night William Contreras bobblehead giveaway on Saturday the 16th. Grab your seats at brewers.com/fan appreciation.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Look at all this space I have on my desk. Finally, no more clutter.
I know, right? Plus, now I can actually see everyone and talk to them whenever I want.
Would you stop trying to ask people if there are more doors or wheels in the world?
Speaking of wheels, these chairs, woo!
I've never been more comfortable at work.
Coakley Brothers and Brothers Interiors, the official moving and furniture provider of GKB Milwaukee.
It's Chevy truck season, and with a Chevy Silverado, there's no such thing as an uphill battle. With a Chevy Silverado, you can take on the mountains, or you can move them. Because with impressive towing capability, an available 13.4-inch diagonal touchscreen, and the choice of powerful engines to pick from, whatever your mountain, there's a Silverado with the capability you need. Visit WisconsinDriveChevy.com.
Big players show up in big games. Donald Driver and Cousins subs are no different. With the football season upon us, Double D and Cousins are teaming up to offer 80-cent delivery now through Sunday, September 24th on any order of $20 or more. Simply order your favorite subs and sides online or on Cousins mobile app, and we'll deliver them to you. And don't forget, we now offer Apple and Google Pay. Cousins subs. We believe in better.
With a local Milwaukee team, Fifth Third Bank knows what success looks like. They've been serving businesses and individuals in the area for nearly 15 years, including a long-standing commitment to the healthcare industry. From expansion to technology to reducing the risk of fraud, Fifth Third offers a full suite of financial services and solutions across the healthcare spectrum to meet the complex moments you're navigating. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, custom solutions built around your goals, member FDIC.
You're listening to Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Packers are victorious over the Chicago Bears. 9 straight times the Packers have defeated the Bears. Final today, 38-20. Homer, your final thoughts on the Packers starting the season 1-0?
Everything was perfect. They played like a playoff team. They whooped on a bad team like a playoff team. I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but that doesn't take away from what they did. So they're one step in, and then you see how many times you can do it. And all the discussion appropriately about Jordan Love, but this to me was the biggest win for Goody because it was putting together a football team that didn't require any amazing plays by Jordan Love. The entire team played well. The defense, you win 38-20. It wasn't that close. And the defense really only gave up 13 points. It's the stat that I want to change where you look at offensive and defensive points. Points given up. Well, you got to give defense credit for when they score, at least the touchdowns. And in reality, the defense gave up 13 points, and the offense. And you've led this, but the offense the offense has problems without Aaron Jones.
Yes, without a doubt. And maybe that changes if Christian Watson's healthy next week, but A.J. Dillon, for being as big of a guy as he is. So I think of
I know what you're going to say, and I want to say I agree.
The biggest play of the game, one of the bigger plays of the day for Aaron Jones was 50-yard reception, which was one of my favorite plays because the way that it was designed, the way they set it up, they go play action, Love starts rolling to the left, so everybody starts going to the left, but they lead 3 offensive linemen out right and throw it back across the field to Aaron Jones on a screen pass. And he's got 3 offensive linemen out there, and he busts it loose for a 50-yard game to set up a Packers touchdown. Later in the game, they set up a screen to A.J. Dillon. I mean, it wasn't as nice of a setup, but they get a screen out on the right side to A.J. Dillon. He's got 3 blockers in front of him. I think he got 5 yards. Like, he had a wall of blockers in front of him. One defender somehow got through there and was able to bring down A.J. Dillon one-on-one. For being the big bruising back, when's the last time he, lowered the boom on someone and was just, oh, man, I can't believe he just ran that guy over?
When's the time you actually noticed his thighs having any significance?
Being Quadzilla?
Yes.
Yes, for having such a cool nickname, it'd be cooler if he did cool stuff
and
on the
you
field.
saw the play when Jones scored on a 1-yard run because he made a move and the hole was so wide. I don't think that A.J. Dillon makes that look that easy.
I know that there were stories about him, and I know Jason wrote one about running with lower pad level and doing that. Whatever it was, whatever the things he talked about being different this year versus last year, I did not see that today from A.J. Dillon.
Exactly the same.
Yes.
We know who A.J. Dillon is, and he's a backup.
I wouldn't mind seeing other guys get more opportunity. If Aaron Jones cannot go next week, and who knows, I am cautiously optimistic that he is going to be able to play next week against the Falcons because he said after the game, it's just a little bite. If I had to play, I think I could have. Again, we have to see what happens after the adrenaline wears off. They'll give him the week the way they gave Dobbs and Watson the week.
I want them to sign a contract for next year. Now, with a reasonable amount of money, because the thought is he's going to leave after this year, right?
Well, so he's got a cap hit of $17 million, a base salary of $11.1. It's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do.
They'll figure out what you got to do next year within reason.
Yeah. I mean, they could just let it roll. Just have him play for $17 million against the cap.
I don't think they'll do that.
I doubt it, but if you're Aaron Jones right now, you're not accepting any less money.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, because I know what's going on in the game.
Well, yeah, but right now, especially you just got hurt.
Right.
If the Packers offense looks like it did for more games without you, then your value goes up.
Correct. So I want to emphasize to me that what had to be obvious to everybody. What was great about the offense today was Aaron Jones.
Yes. 9 touches for 127 yards. Or excuse me, 11 touches for 127
and you
yards.
can go talk to him and say, Aaron, you need to do this 2 weeks in a row. You've given us the stat many times. It's amazing.
Yeah. The number of 100-yard games, and I'm not even just talking about 100-yard rushing games, 100-yard total games where he's gone back-to-back.
Almost never.
Yeah, I think it's once or twice.
Yes.
That's it. In his entire Packers career.
Right.
Some of that's him. Some of that's the Packers not using him. But if he is unable to go next week, I wouldn't mind seeing Patrick Taylor getting more carries. I wouldn't mind seeing Wilson get some carries. Wilson was inactive this week, but some of the other running backs that they have, I wouldn't mind seeing them get more touches over A.J. Dillon because A.J. Dillon, 13 carries for 19 yards, that ain't getting it done.
No. He's a backup.
Yep. But even then, I think some of the other backups might deserve a little bit more of an opportunity if he continues 13 carries for 19 yards.
Right. And it isn't just the yardage. We watch it and go, there's just nothing special often enough for him to be out there that long when you have somebody like Aaron Jones.
Well, it just amazing. Look back in the first drive that they had in the second half. And Aaron Andrews, how many times of those halftime interviews have you gotten much of anything out of the halftime interviews? Aaron Andrews like, hey, is there anything wrong with Aaron Jones? Anything wrong? Why wasn't he playing? No, he's fine. We just kind of got out of rhythm, and LaFleur didn't give a great
second
answer.
half, Jones for 7, Jones for 1, then Jones for 8, and then the 51 yards. And I was going to ask this when we bring it up, but so they're using DeGuara more often now in that fullback.
Fullback, yeah.
Because
they probably don't. I mean, he's a good blocker.
But I didn't sense that in those formations or whatever, that all of a sudden it was a lot better or...
No, and it just gives you an opportunity to be more varied. My favorite, and I doing the project that we did this summer with the Repackables, where we went back and watched a bunch of Packer games. What I really enjoyed about that was seeing early Mike McCarthy, because you kind of forget. You just remember the old, how it ended in Green Bay and the staleness. But if you go back and watch games from 2007... from 2011, 12, the way the Packers were multiple, and they would have so many different formations and so many different personnel groups that be rotating in and out of the games, that's what made, I mean, there was a series where Mike McCarthy went 5 wide, and then he went full house backfield, right? And that's what made him such a good play caller at that time for the Packers. Having that fullback on their roster allows them to be multiple. Be able to, we're going to go 2 tight ends. No, we're going to go more traditional. We'll have a fullback back here. And just allows them to do something different. But they never did that with
Rodgers.
No, because Rodgers liked it. Again, part of it was, I think this probably had something to do with McCarthy's time in Green Bay. I think Rodgers just liked the stagnant 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. I think that's what Rodgers liked. Okay. And that's what he wanted to run out of it. I think that's what a lot of the Packers did last year. I think they were more multiple today than they were in any other game last year.
Somebody tells me people never understood. DeGuara was never a tight end and was always a fullback. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't think he's any good at anything.
Yeah.
Or I don't think he's special at anything. But clearly they're using him in that.
And not that he's going to be Kyle Juszczyk, but...
No, we know. He's not.
Yes. But that's the type of role they probably want him to play.
Okay.
Where you're a good blocker, and I mean, he's not going to get the receptions probably that Juszczyk gets, because they'll throw him a bone out in San Francisco and get him a couple of touches here and there. I don't think they're going to do that for DeGuara, but they just like him in that fullback role because they think he can block.
All right. Well, I just noticed
he's like Mercedes Lewis, but a little more athletic, so they use him as a fullback.
I just don't remember. I mean, I'm writing down every time. He's in there again. Mm-hmm. He's in there again, and then he's in there again, and
they like him leading the way as the fullback.
Right. All right.
Packers win 38-20 over the Chicago Bears. We'll be back next week, breaking it all down with you. But don't forget, tune in tomorrow. React with us all day long, whether it's on WTMJ, whether it's on ESPN Wisconsin, with Wilde and Tausch, with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, with the Homer Hour. Brian Balaga tomorrow?
Yes, he's probably put in 50 hours of research. He watches the game and then says, I got to go watch the tape again. Like, that's going to be one segment. What the hell do you have to watch the game a second time? You played in the league.
Yep.
I would think every time you see something, it's just pretty easy to notice. And I want to ask him, what the hell do you have to watch a second time?
Can't wait to hear that conversation on the Homer Hour tomorrow with Brian Balaga. And, of course, that'll be 5 to 6. And then the debut tomorrow from 2 until 5, you will get Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. KB and tomorrow from 2 to 5. Brand new lineup. React with us tomorrow and join us next week after the game, after the Packers take on the Falcons next week on Green Bay Game Night.
Buckle up. It's all systems go at Potawatomi. Plug in to high wattage play and you could win an all-electric BMW i7. Play now through September with your club card. Prize drawings on Thursdays. There's a shocking $800,000 in total prizes on the line, including the luxury BMW i7. It's time to electrify your drive. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. More info at paysbig.com/BMW. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
It's time for the Ortho ASAP Minute from Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
I'm joined by Dr. Rick Papandrea. What's the process when deciding if someone needs surgery or not?
The surgeons here are just that. We are surgeons, but all orthopedic surgeons evaluate a patient and attempt to get them better without surgery. And then we have other non-surgeons here as well. Everybody is coordinated to get people better. And if we can do that without surgery, great. It's typically the best way to get somebody better. But there are just certain injuries that won't get better on their own. They fail to get better without surgery, or they're clearly such that they need surgery.
Does someone's personal interest and feelings play into medical decisions?
We have to look at the patient and decide what's best for them. It's always good to ask the doctor, what would you do? But I always turn that back around and say, well, I'm not you. Let's look at what you need, because some patients may have the exact same sort of needs that I have, but what I need or what I think will work isn't always the best thing for the patient given their specifics.
The Ortho ASAP Minute is sponsored by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Here in Wisconsin, a good old-fashioned is an important way of life. And that's where my friends at Perky's Old Fashioned come in. Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Game Night, so here to tell you about the easiest way to put together an old-fashioned. Perky's offers both brandy and bourbon old-fashioned mixes. And get this, the booze is already in there. Just add the soda of your choosing, and you'll have Grandma Perky's Old Fashioned in the palm of your hand. Perky's is locally made and great for get-togethers of all kinds. Get perked up and head to perkysspirits.com for your nearest Perky's location.
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video. Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
He said, you are not going to resign. You're my coach. I don't care if it takes 3 years.
Yeah.
So, again, he believed in me.
Yeah.
You know, wow. I'm telling you, this guy, if we all look back in our lives, whether it's a parent or something, you need people like that to step up.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I didn't know that story. I do know what it's like to have a relationship with a coach from my side, but I try to do that with Kerr. And I do know how meaningful that is and how